We are live. Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show, the review. Today is a Tottenham Hotspur special, and we have two extra special guests. We have Jamie Brown from the Daily Hotspur and superfan podcaster Abbi Summers. Thank you very much for joining us today, you two.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
And me. It's only been a few days since I last saw you.
Yeah. We couldn't stay away. That's what it is. We couldn't stay away. We had to get you back.
You old flatterer, you little.
All right. Oh, and we've got two other guests as well. Well, not even guests, regulars.
Yeah, hello.
We got the chief scout on my right. It's Steve. K. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing, Kieran? Good evening, everybody.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How you doing, Jerome? We got Jerome Marks, the voice, aka player analysis. It's Jerome Marks. How you doing, Jerome?
Yeah, good, man. Good evening, everyone. Hello.
All right, and we were saying in the comment section, I'm sure we've got some new faces here. Tottenham fans, hopefully. Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. Welcome to KS1 TV. Hopefully you're liking and subscribing and sharing and all that. All right, let's get this party started. All right, so Tottenham under Jose Mourinho. He had a lot to do from when he came in. 14 points from 12 games under Poch. It just wasn't working, and something had to change in the end. In the end, it was the manager. Jose Mourinho came in, and to be fair, a sixth place finish. He's got you're in Europe this season. He's not done bad since he's come in, has he?
Mm.
Jamie, what are you saying under Jose Mourinho?
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think he came in a very difficult circumstances. I think under Pochettino for a long time, the team clearly needed a refresh, and I think that the squad also needed a change of. Obviously, you can't refresh a whole squad, so as we always know, it's the manager that had to change. So I was gutted to see Mauricio Pochettino go, but as I said, I think we needed that change as the manager. But I think last year he did a good job under the circumstances, definitely. I think to kind of salvage European football, we needed to have that at minimum. You've seen kind of Spurs had that, they had a very good transfer window, and I think that would have been very difficult to have had we not have qualified for European football. So I was glad that we managed to salvage some sort of European football. And then, of course, you look at the injuries that he had as well. So there was lots of difficult circumstances, and I think in the end, he did a good job to get us to sixth place in the end. So overall, I think it was a decent first half of the season for Jose Mourinho last season.
Mm-hmm. And Abbi, Jose came in, and at points it was looking like, I don't know, it was some points of inconsistency, but that comes from taking over a new team and sort of getting used to the way each other works. How did you feel how the season went in the end?
It's funny because me and Jamie had a bit of a to-do on the Last Word on Spurs podcast, literally after the restart, which is obviously, we buried the hatchet now. But I think it was very interesting to see such different points of view and stuff, because neither of us wanted to see Pochettino go. But as Jamie rightly said, you can't get rid of a 25-man squad, so something has to give, and unfortunately it's always the manager. So I think that it kind of left a bit of a sour taste, and everything prior to lockdown, I still say it to this day, lockdown did us the world of good, because I don't honestly believe we would have finished in a European spot had we have carried on. I remember being at that Norwich game when we went out and Eric Dyer jumped in the crowd, and everything was just so poisonous around us. So it did us the world of good. And I think for me personally, it took me a really long time to see what Jose wanted to do. And obviously the squad needed a massive refresher. We all knew that anyway. And I just wasn't really buying what he was selling at that time. And I couldn't see the direction he wanted to take us. But obviously as the restart went on, I think a really big turning point for us was the Sheffield game and away to Bournemouth. And then after that, we kind of started afresh. It was like we kind of drew a line under it. Whatever he said to them after those two awful games, kind of sparked something, and we had a really positive end to the season. And obviously that's kind of continued into this season. I totally get what he's selling now. I see the mentality he puts into the squad. I see the type of football he wants to play. And my biggest concern with him was, I didn't want to go and watch my team or see them on TV at the minute and watch boring football, because that's not what Tottenham is about. We've got too many good players for that, and that was my biggest concern. But he's now built a squad that is his, and he's playing the football that he likes and that works for Harry Kane, that works for Son, what works for Lo Celso. And I mean, so far it's been really, really good this season. I've been so impressed. I haven't seen us play that type of football since, 2017, 2018. So I'm really buying what he's selling now, and I thought very much the jury was out, and we'll see what happens as the season goes on. But so far, I'm now fully on board. So Jamie will be happy. I'm now converted.
So Jamie, so you saw something early doors, was it? Like you saw a little bit more of a direction. Is that how you felt?
For me, I just felt as though he needed that time to kind of make the squad his own. As I said, there were lots of issues with that squad, and I think that what he was trying to do was Jose Mourinho plays to win football matches, and I think that he'll use what he's got. At the time, though, I just think that squad didn't really fit the way that Jose Mourinho, the way your typical Jose Mourinho team is, a team that fights for everything. There just wasn't those players in the team. I think after the summer transfer window, he's managed to bring in a lot of players who have significantly kind of helped that. I think that there are players now that we're seeing brought in who have the right mentality and that are willing to fight. You look at Jose Mourinho's best teams, his Inter Milan's team, when they won the Champions League, his Porto team, they're all built on players that were willing to give everything for his team. And at Spurs, I don't think he really had that at the start. So I was kind of willing to give him a bit of time. Again, after the restart, we started to see some signs of maybe some improvements. And as Abbi said, this season we've started really well, and it's really positive to see. But it doesn't surprise me too much the start we've made, because we have now a more rounded team in place. We managed to plug the gaps that were missing. We managed to fill the right back spot that was that we were definitely missing. A holding midfielder, backup striker. So there are lots of things that we fixed in this team now that I can, that we hopefully now we can really kick on under Jose Mourinho and do something really good.
Steve, what improvements have you seen since, or what changes have you seen since Jose versus Poch has come over?
Well, since Mourinho's came in, I think he's finally made a team which is where it's sort of it's got a bit of everything. I mean, when the Tottenham side under Poch, it seemed to me like it was all a bit one-dimensional. It was all attack, and it was like it was like of Tottenham teams of the past. I mean, it was exciting to watch, brilliant to watch, but it just needed something. It needed something else. There was something missing, and a lot of people, I couldn't put my thing on it. And I don't think a lot of Spurs fans could put their thing on it. But Mourinho came in and loving him, hate him. The guy is a serial winner, and he started to change the side. As soon as he started to come in. But maybe he should keep things in house at times. But the guy is a world-class manager. There's no doubt about that. And people used to say, he needs a checkbook. Mourinho needs a checkbook. What he's proving at Tottenham now that he doesn't need a checkbook because of the buyers that he's bringing in, such as Doherty, such as Hoiberg, and such as Reguilon, and obviously he's bringing in Bale. He's getting this balance of a team together, which is going to be a scary team for anybody. And I fancy him this season. I honestly do. And what has also happened, what he's done, is there's players like Voldeveld and Dyer and Aurier, even the stars like Kane and Lloris, where they were sort of wasn't, they needed lifting. They were saying that needed lifting. And he's brought in the exact right players that's actually lifted them to me, another level. And like Abbi just said, you're watching them this season, and it's a different Spurs. And this is all down to Jose Mourinho. And what he's done, he's brought in the pragmatic players to play with the Sons and the Kanes, and it's just an excellent balance now. And it's exciting. It's very exciting for a Spurs fan. And whatever team you support, we're all very excited to see Gareth Bale to go into that. And yeah, I mean, it's very scary. And there's not a lot of faults at the moment. Maybe a centre back that they could still do with. Mourinho came in and he certainly, for me, made Spurs into a better side than it was under Pochettino.
Yeah. Jerome, some people say that Mourinho's ways of management are harsh. Tells it how it is. Do you think he's trying to weed out the people with the weak mentality? Make sure he's got people with the strong warriors in there that fight the battle with him?
Yeah, possibly. I think that's what you might see with the Hoiberg signing. He's someone that you can tell from the first few games he's gonna leave it all out on the field. I mean, I saw the first game against Everton this season, and I think maybe Jamie and Abbi will agree that Spurs maybe weren't at their best. But I guess first game of the season, Everton played particularly well, and it takes time, doesn't it, for new players to gel, especially in the centre of the pitch, such a key position. That's where the game is played right through the centre of the pitch. You can tell the type of manager Mourinho is. He wants these hard workers that are going to do a job for him and someone that he can rely on. You've got your flair players, obviously, like the players you mentioned, your Sons and Bao, who's going to be joining soon, I guess, in terms of like actually playing games. He's putting his putting his stamp on the team for sure. We'll see how it goes over the next few weeks and months.
Mm-hmm. Simon, for someone who wanted Jose Mourinho as their manager, how do you
I'm here, everyone. Yeah. I'm here. I've been sat for the last 10 minutes late. In the long bleeding stream.
We'll move on from that. Anyway, strike one. For someone who wanted Jose Mourinho as the manager, what do you think he's brought to Tottenham that they were missing?
Well, with Tottenham at the minute, for me, it's a little bit too early to say, because as good as they were against Man United, let's be honest, it's Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Brighton were the better team against Manchester United, hands down. But the one thing with Tottenham, obviously, Mourinho's got them playing this high press, where basically they don't play out from the back. They wait for you to come onto them, and then when you make a mistake, they counter-attack you. And that's what they did with Manchester United, and they could not deal with it. But with Jose Mourinho at the minute, I'm not going to say he's back. I'm not going to say that Tottenham are going to go on a madness and win the league. I'm not going to say that whatsoever. But basically, I'm not worried about Tottenham, but I'm more wary about playing them. Because if you try and attack this Tottenham team, they'll just basically suck you in until you're at a point where you cannot get through, and then they'll counter-attack you. That's what Jose Mourinho does so good. His Manchester United team that finished second in the league, that's what they did. They never attacked any team whatsoever. They sat back and they waited for you to mess up. And when you did, they caught you on their counter-attack. Rashford and all them lot, basically. Martial. That's what they did. So with Jose, I won't say that he's changed them. I won't say that at all, because they could easily go to, I don't know who your next game is. I'm just throwing something against a wall here and seeing if it sticks. You could play Fulham away and you could lose 2-0. That's what I'm saying. With Man United, it's easy to play Man United because they have no tactics, they have no game plan, and they have a manager that has no idea what he's doing. It's just 11 players on a pitch. Go on, lads, do what you do. That's all it is. With Tottenham, they'll suffocate you into making a mistake, and they'll capitalise on it with Son, with Bale when he comes in, and with Harry Kane. Oh, Harry Kane, for me, is actually outdoing Kevin De Bruyne for being a creative player. He's up there at the minute. He's everywhere. He's up there. He's everywhere at the minute. He
seems to have a new, I wouldn't say a new role, because I felt that Harry Kane's problem when he was at England and he was trying too much and he was just out of position. He wasn't doing what he does best, drifting out the wide, cutting in, taking shots, scoring goals. That's what he does. But I just feel like at the moment, he's got a new level of confidence with what he's doing as well. He drops in deep, he gets assists, he scores goals. How much more deadly can Harry Kane get, Jamie, this season?
Yeah, I think there's a
new way he's playing.
Yeah, for sure. Look, he's really matured this year. I feel as though he's kind of elevated his game to a next level. I mean, I do agree in terms of Man United. I think that we do have to be slightly cautious because they are a really poor side. But Harry Kane, he just looked fantastic against them. He just imposes himself on the game a lot more. He looks like when he's on the ball, he just looks so in control of the game and he can do anything just a split second. But look, he's added that ability to drop deep and create. He's always had kind of an ability to pick out passes, but I think that this year it's just seemed to have found a new level. And I think that the way he's able to combine with him and Son, I think that combination as well. I think they've just got some sort of telepathic, relationship really, because they know each other's games. They understand what each other's about now. They know Kane. Son will know to make a run, and that Kane will pick him out, and Kane will know vice versa. So. As I said, I really feel as though this year Kane has just matured his game and he's kind of that all-round striker now. And I'm really, really excited to see what to come, especially if you're going to add Bale the other side of him, because that could be quite an exciting attack.
Yeah, I think everyone wants to see that. One thing we do know about Jose, once he really likes the player, he improves them. Like he does that. Even down to Man United, he spotted Scott McTominay. He saw a player in there, and now Scott McTominay's ended up got his long-term contract at Man United. He can see a foreseeable future. Maybe he wouldn't have seen that under another manager. Abbi, who else would you say Jose Mourinho's improved since he's been at Tottenham?
I mean, obviously, the obvious one is Harry Kane. Not that any of us probably thought that he needed improving, but he's just outstanding. I mean, I see some people. I think it was Leon Britton, comparing Calvert-Lewin. But with the greatest respect, there's absolutely no comparison. Like, it's a stupid conversation to even have at this point. Obviously Harry Kane, he's got a whole new dimension, as Jamie said. Heung-min Son, again, didn't think he could get much better, but he has. One thing I've really liked so far this season is kind of like the rebirth of Tanguy and Ndombele, because we spoke quite a lot about it, me and Jamie on that podcast right at the beginning of the restart, and I was quite annoyed at the fact that we'd spent all this money on a record signing. You could see the potential, and yes, there's obviously been lots of comments and things about his weight and about his work ethic, and obviously it was documented in the Amazon Prime documentary about that. But I'm really happy that they've kind of turned over a new leaf, that he's now kind of fitting in the side. You can see he's definitely going to be such a key part for us in that midfield for the season. And so far he looks good when he's played, and he looks, far more in control. And I think that having Hoiberg as well is helping him, because he could kind of be the creative player that he is. And, it's so funny with that Hoiberg signing, because it's such one that goes under the radar. No one really rates it, but it's exactly what Tottenham needed. And we haven't had it since Dembele and Wanyama left. So sorry, it's not about improving him, but he's going to be a massive part of that team in allowing everyone else to do their jobs and improving. And another one for me is Lo Celso. Jose's openly said he kind of wrote him off when he got there. And he didn't really see what all the fuss was about. And again, now his head's completely turned. And he's also another, key part of this team. And to think he wasn't even in the squad, last week when we beat, United. So I'm just so excited to see what happens with this team. I mean, Aurier had his best game by a country mile. So for me, it's not necessarily what he's done to improve them. I just think that having competition, and people pushing you and behind you, it's something that Tottenham haven't had for... I mean, I can't even think back to when we, had, two sets of fullbacks that can push each other, and midfielders. We've got loads of midfielders, loads of, strength up top. They're all pushing each other for places. Lucas needs pushing. Lamella needs pushing. Bergwijn. You think you've got so many attacking options, outside of Kane, Bale, Son. So for me, it's all, it's not necessarily what Jose can do. It's what they can all do to push and improve each other. And I think when you've got that competition, finally. You can achieve so much more, because there's so much more hunger there. Yeah,
definitely. Steve, Jose's very honest about people that he prejudged and then they've proved him wrong. Do you think it's all part of the I don't know, the mental drive, giving him a bit of a boost, saying, I didn't rate you before, but now I rate you? Or do you think he genuinely goes in, he's like, don't rate, prove me wrong? Do you think he's that brutal?
No, there's a plan behind everything he does. Everything he does. whether it's the thing with the Pogba thing when he was at Man United, when the cameras were on him, when he's on, if it's Jeff Shreves interview him after Sky in a football match and he brings up a player, he knows exactly what he's doing. This guy's won everything in the game. He's not. He knows exactly whether he's right or whether he's wrong. When he goes out there, there's a plan behind it.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about that. And there's been a plan over. I mentioned a little while ago with the players that he's brought in. Everything's planned.
Yeah.
Doherty, Hoiberg, Reguilon, all these players. At the beginning, you would have thought, shrugged his shoulder. Even Lo Celso at one point, you would have thought, okay, who's this? Now you're like, whew, Doherty. God, look at Reguilon. You see Reguilon? God, Hoiberg's on fire. He's like how he was when he was at Bayern Munich. He's planning behind what he does, and that's why he's a world-class manager.
Yeah. Jerome, how important is the signing of Hoiberg to Tottenham?
Yeah, I think, well, judging by Jamie and Abby's reactions, I think they quite like this guy. I think every team needs someone like that.
Yeah,
someone in the centre of the pitch that's just going to do sort of all the dirty work. And it, wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season he's the player with like the most appearances for Spurs or the most minutes. It's so important for any team. I wasn't entirely sure about him, to be honest, before Spurs signed him. I wasn't sure if he would be at the level that Spurs needed if they wanted to, push the top four teams.
Yeah.
But by the looks of things, the fans are happy with him, and so when the fans are happy with a player, that's normally quite good judges normally, the fans. So you got to agree with what they say.
I think we forget that Hoiberg was at Bayern Munich, won Champions League trophy, and was loved by Pep Guardiola as well, previous to his time at Southampton. So he's got pedigree. So he's got something in there. Simon, Spurs. I think this is the biggest squad they've had with quality in positions as well. How far do you reckon they could be pushed this season? With their depth in squad.
Depth in squad. It's a little bit too soon for me to actually say anything what they can do. I mean, I know some people have written off Liverpool because they've lost 7-2. Nothing. It's a blip. But with Tottenham, with what they're doing with Mourinho at the minute, see, I'm the only one that turns around to other fans and say that, yeah, but Mourinho's not improved them. He's just given them a whole new, basically, confidence. That's all.
Well, that's improvement, then, isn't it?
It's not
massively improved.
If a team's lacking confidence and you give them confidence, that's improving their performance. So it's improvement.
Well, it's not improving their confidence. It's basically just telling them they are good at what they used to do before another manager came in and told them that they weren't doing what they weren't doing as good as what they were doing. With Mourinho, it's like, see, with Hoiberg, I won't say that Hoiberg is improved Hoiberg. I won't say that. With Hoiberg, he's exactly the same as what he was with Pep. He shuts his mouth, he does his job, he goes on the pitch, and that's it. He never calls the manager out. He never says anything bad what the manager's doing. He is basically what Fellaini was for Man United. He was never the big name on the sheet, but he always produced when he came on, and that was Marouane Fellaini. He did what Jose Mourinho wanted him to do. If he came out and called out Mourinho, then that's a whole different ball game. That's what Anthony Martial did. That's what Marcus Rashford did. That's what Paul Pogba did when he called Mourinho out. And it was actually Pogba that was in the wrong, and Mourinho wasn't in the wrong. And now it's been proven, as you're seeing the developments under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. With Jose, it's like, I don't know how to say it. With Pochettino, you took on that Tottenham team and it were like, if we're not on it today, these lot could batter us. But when you went 1-0 up against Pochettino's Tottenham, they crumbled. When you go 1-0 up now against Tottenham's Jose Mourinho, they've kind of got a bit of a fight about them. They don't want to basically, it's not a case of how can you say it? It's not a case of wanting to basically improve themselves. It's the players wanting to do something for Mourinho because they're trying to show what they can do. If you get what I mean. At Man United, they never did that. At Man United, they still do it to this day. They play for themselves. They never played for Mourinho. They played for themselves. With this Tottenham team, they don't play for themselves. They play for Jose, and that's how you get the best out of a team. If you give Jose full reign on who he signs, who he doesn't want, you give him full backing, he will do unbelievable stuff with you. He did the same with Porto. He did the same with Inter Milan that went on to do unbelievable things, and that's because he went into Inter Milan and said, I don't want him, and I don't want him. Inter's board was refusing to get rid of the 3 players that Jose didn't want, but they backed Mourinho. They got rid of him, and they got rid of him. He brought in this player. They went on to win a treble. This is the thing with Mourinho. If you 100% back him, you are going to get the rewards.
Yeah, and part of that is getting in the players he wants that he can trust to work his system. Jamie, this is the, on paper, this is the most impressive Tottenham team I've seen in a good few years. Depth in squad, positions, backing up in 2 players in each position near enough. How far can they go this season? Do you feel that it's the Premier League is more open this season? Do you feel like they can push?
Yeah, I definitely think it's definitely more wide open, and that is so true about the squad. I think there are so many options in each position, but there's also a lot of quality. And I think, absolutely spot on in terms of Spurs have gone out and identified Jose Mourinho type players like Hoiberg. He is that typical guy that's a team player. He'll give everything for the team. We saw that against Manchester United. He does all the dirty work, really. He does a lot of, so much hard work for the team. And, Spurs have got a couple more players like that. And that's why, those are the sort of successful Jose Mourinho teams. I think under Manchester United, they didn't quite back him. They didn't get the players that were willing to fight for him. And that's why they didn't succeed. I think, absolutely spot on in that assessment. But look, and that's the exciting thing. It feels as though we have gone and backed him. It feels as though, before the transfer window, he spoke about wanting a more better rounded squad. And we certainly feel like we've gone and delivered that. We've also, as I said, gone and delivered him players that feel like they'll suit a Jose Mourinho type system that will fight for him. Mm-hmm. And it's exciting. I think that we've got to deliver a trophy this year. I think that there is a really talented squad in there. Look, I think the Pochettino size that we saw in the past, the year that we went undefeated at White Hart Lane, that was probably one of the best teams we've seen in recent years at Spurs. So it's difficult to say that this is, the best Spurs team we've seen in a while. But I get that in terms of quality and options, there's certainly a team that has to go and deliver a trophy this season, whether that be the League Cup or maybe the Europa League. I think at the moment it's difficult to say in the Premier League. I think it's probably too early at this stage to say Spurs could go and challenge for the title. But you look at that attack, the front 3, the Bale, Son and Kane, that should really be quite up there as one of the best in the league.
Yeah, I don't know how you're saying this isn't one of the best Spurs teams with essentially when Bale comes back,
it's true.
Son and Harry Kane up top. I'm sorry if you've had a better
thing though that I will say, we're all. That is the best. I know we're excited to see Gareth Bale, even as an Arsenal fan. I want to see what he can do, but we're making it out like he's still in his 20s.
Listen to what I said. Wait. Listen to what I said.
He's a month younger than Aubameyang.
Yeah, listen to what I said. I said, if Gareth Bale gets back to what we think he can get to, yeah, and plus,
if he can, then I'll be terrified.
Yeah, what? But Gareth Bale. Look, Gareth Bale hasn't stopped training. He's just short of match fitness. Gareth Bale is still going to be a player. Gareth Bale was an athlete. Gareth Bale wasn't a Messi. He was an athlete. He had strength, pace, a vision of a bullet of a shot. Yeah, those things aren't really going to leave you. You need to get your fitness up. You need to get to the pace of the Premier League. Other than that, how much different can Gareth Bale be? Even a 70% Gareth Bale is a decent Gareth Bale. Like, it doesn't matter.
I think it's the environment as well. I think, we saw the environment he was in at Real
He's
Madrid.
happy.
There was that lack of motivation. Now he's at a club where he's going to be appreciated. He's got a manager that's always wanted to work with him. So there's that motivation there for him to go and perform now. And I know it'll be really, really exciting. I'm really looking forward to potentially next week when we might get to see our first look at him. So it's going to be quite exciting.
Abbi, Harry Redknapp says Tottenham can win the league. They might not win the league, but it is time that they push for a cup, surely.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's been we're going into like nearly 13 years without a trophy. And like that was obviously only the Carling Cup, and I say only the Carling Cup. I'd actually love to win the Carabao Cup because I think it's the first one. I think it's quite possibly the quickest route to getting to a final when it's winning a trophy, and the first one they always say is the hardest to win. It's funny you mentioned about the Harry Redknapp thing because my article this week for the Spurs web is actually about those comments and if Tottenham can win the league, which is coming out at 10 o'clock tonight, everybody.
Give us a preview. Give us a preview.
Look, it does sound crazy to sit here after 4 games, and we're all trying to not get carried away, obviously, because it's been 4 games. We should have obviously beat Newcastle, should have taken 9 out of 12, but it is what it is. So it's very premature to be saying, potentially can we win the league? However, potentially, yes, we could win the league because we have, for once, like you said about the squad, we have a proper squad. We have depth in every position, up front, at the back, in the middle. We've got, even in goal. There's times when you had to see like Michel Vorm go in goal, and no disrespect, but the level between Lloris and Michel Vorm is like miles and miles apart. So for me, it's not out of the realms of possibility that we could potentially, I don't want to get carried away. Like I said, be very happy with an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup or something, Europa League. But it really depends because the kind of path we've been on at the minute, I mean, if we play like that all season and everyone stays fit, you think, you've got to be up there. And the league is so open this year. I mean, you can already see, obviously, how Liverpool got done last week. And yes, it might be a one-off. Do I think they're defensively as sound as they were? I didn't think they were that great, after lockdown. I thought that they were leaking goals. We've already seen, against Leeds this season as well, they're leaking goals, and against Villa. City are just not the team I think they used to be. Don't get me wrong, they're a fantastic side, have fantastic players, but something's missing from City. I don't know if it's Pep, something's missing from him. He looks really kind of like downhearted when he talks. Yeah,
Captain.
it's just motivation and just he looks a little bit like fed up. He probably thinks if he got the sack he doesn't mind. I get the impression. And obviously at the minute, I mean, however long Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be at United, probably not that long. I'm sure Pochettino will probably be there by the end of the year. But we'll see. But I think it's so wide open that if we keep people fit, I mean, to see Harry Kane fit all season would just be like a dream come true. And look, he's already got 6 assists. So if he stays fit, if Bale was to hit the ground running, stay fit, if Son was to stay fit, and you get no major injuries like we have done in the past kind of like 3-4 seasons, why couldn't we challenge? Why couldn't we be up there? Because we now on paper we've got just as good a squad, if not better than a lot of the others. I don't see that depth. Really, even in Liverpool's side, I don't see that depth, to be fair. I mean, you take Alisson out, you take Van Dijk out, you take Mane out, you take Henderson out. Liverpool don't have much depth. And I think we saw that against Liverpool, that you take a spine out of their team, they're not the Liverpool But a trophy is the most important thing. We have to win a trophy. I don't care what it is, just a trophy. Have to win a trophy.
I mean, Liverpool, if they lose Alisson, they're done for. Don't worry about Van Dijk. If they lose Alisson, they
proved it against Villa.
And we saw it last season. When as soon as Adrian goes in goal, it's a completely different style of goalkeeper, and you have to change your style of defence. It's not going to work, especially for a standing goalkeeper. Steve, do you think it's the Premier League's a bit more open than people maybe would have thought so at the start of the season?
Oh yeah, not half. It's funny. Just we were only 4 games in, and if you know your football, you can tell by the first 4 games and look at the team and pretty much see where they're going and where it's going to pan out. If you take Tottenham for a minute, if Bell does come in and he does do what I mean, I'm a great fan of Bale, so I'm just assuming he's going to come in and be the Bale who I'm a fan of. They've got the best strike force in the league. There's no doubt about that. Of Bale, Kane, and Son, for me, that's better than Liverpool's partnership. If Bale comes in and does what I think he's going to do, yeah. Abbi was spot on. Man City, there's something missing. They're not right. There's things about their team that are just not. You put their 11 up in front of you and you think, something missing there. Well, Liverpool, you don't know. They took an Amorim, probably a blip. You look at Man United, you don't see. You see them having problems. Chelsea are on and off. I'm not saying they're going to win the league, but I tell you what, Tottenham could be up there. They could be challenged. They could easily, because someone mentioned earlier about Tottenham having the best 4 letters. Team now. It's a team. It's not a team. It's not players, individual players like Kane, just the one who's scoring all the goals. The whole thing's a team that's coming together. And I don't think. I think honestly believe that they could do something this season, and it's wide open. I think it's wide open this season. Yeah.
We were speaking earlier about you saying, Abbi, about making sure that Kane stays fit, but I know you looked at. Jerome, you looked at Carlos Vinicius. Important thing is not just having Harry Kane fit, but it's not relying on him for 50 odd games of the season and playing him through them niggling injuries because you need him in this game or that game. It's having faith in your backup striker and your second striker. From what you've seen, do you think he's got enough to at least be an option as a backup? Sorry, Jerome.
Oh, to me. So I thought.
Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. His goal scoring record's fantastic, and he's, as I said when we spoke about him, physically he's perfect for the Premier League. He's big, he's strong, he's quick as well for someone that's so big. I wouldn't be surprised to see quite a lot of him this season, and it's nice to have that for Spurs. It's nice to have that player that I think you won't mind putting in if Kane can't play a game or so. They'd be quite happy to see this guy play.
And that's the thing.
It's fantastic as well at cutting in from the wing. He can play on either side at wing, because I've done a bit of watching on him as well from Benfica. He's fantastic at coming in from the wing. He's brilliant at taking a man on. He's not scared. He's got fantastic aerial ability about him when it comes to free kicks and corners. His body strength is unbelievable for a guy his age. The way that he can take a ball on his chest, keep it between his chest, and actually bring it to his feet and still shield the ball away. It's a little bit like what Didier Drogba used to do for Chelsea. It's really impressive as a second striker, really good. And that's why I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
So do you think he could bring maybe even a bit of competition? I mean, I'm sure.
Big time.
I'm
Easily.
sure you've seen a couple of his finishes in training, which have been.
Is that sort of player, right? Is that sort of player? You could stick him at number 9. You could stick Son and Bergwijn on the wing, and you could stick Harry Kane in the 10, playing behind as a second striker, and you will still get the best out of him. Then, if he's injured, you stick Harry Kane up there, and you play a Kane, Bale, and Son. For Tottenham, it's a win-win.
And I think that's the thing. It's about options as well. It's about options. We saw in August that Jose brought in Ledley King as the assistant, and it seems like it's very much a job where he's learning on the role. But what do you think, Jamie? He could also bring the someone who maybe you brought in from outside can't. What do you think Ledley can bring?
Well, I think that understanding of the club, I think that Jose Mourinho, again, it's about bringing in the right sort of people. And I think Ledley King, as we all know, is a guy that's very well respected at Tottenham. For us, he was one of the greatest players I think we've ever had, one of the greatest defenders we've ever had. So that he comes with a lot of respect into the dressing room. I think someone like Harry Kane will look at him and really look up to him. I think, and then the younger players that are coming through, the likes of Japhet Tanganga, they'll know what that sort of, he was such a good player for Spurs. I think that he was also brought in to help the defence. I think that's always been a big issue for us for a while. Since we've lost the likes of Yamatongan and Toby Alderweireld have declined, Spurs haven't really been the same quite defensively, and that had been a big issue for us. So, it was quite interesting to see maybe after the restart, that's when he came in and Spurs started to look a lot better defensively. So I think he's definitely been brought in as well to come in and work with the defence. But so I think kind of to help the defence is a big thing that he's coming to help with, and just that respect around the club. And, everyone, I'm sure he gets on really well with everyone. So he's a really important person to have in the dressing room. And again, that's what I think we looked at to bring out in, in terms of the new signings as well. Even Joe Hart, I think he was a guy that was targeted to come into the dressing room and have that effect. So that's been something that's really crucial under Mourinho, in getting in the right players and the right staff into the dressing room. And I think that Ledley King, as I said, with the respect that he has, I think that'll only be a good thing for Spurs.
Yeah. Abbi, we were speaking previously about what else Tottenham need to do to bring in, to upgrade. What positions you were saying that you feel like they still need to upgrade?
I think the only position I said mainly was at centre-back. And I think, maybe if we would have got Skriniar over the line, I know we were obviously looking at a few others. I'm not sure what happened with that Joe Rodon one from Wales. Obviously, we were in talks. I assume we're still in talks. I don't know. But I don't really know much about him. I think for me, that was the only place I would have thought that we really needed to strengthen to make the window 10 out of 10. That was purely because, and I know he obviously does really like and fancy Eric Dyer at the back, and it's not to say that I don't, but it's just that from going from a partnership that was so strong of like Vertonghen and Toby, and I think Jamie will feel the same, to go to that. And then, Sanchez actually is one player that has really improved under Jose, who we didn't actually point out earlier. I think he's come on leaps and bounds since Jose's kind of taken charge. He's been a lot more consistent. He does make the composed. He does. And look, he gave away a penalty against United, but I mean, there's penalties getting given away left, right and centre these days. So it is kind of what it is. But in terms of, his rashness and reading of the game, I think he's, improved dramatically. Obviously, we love Tanganga. I'd love to see him, be, a firm favourite at the back. I think that maybe not this season, though. I think it'll probably take a little bit longer with him, just to kind of like shore that up. But I think it would have just been good because I think we'll see a lot less of Toby. I think the whole point, and I think I mentioned it on the show the other day, for me, getting him to sign that contract was more a point of not letting him and Jan both go on a free. And obviously he's still, he's experienced. He's still a fantastic defender. He's a Rolls Royce, but it's just about the pace. And I think his legs are going, not as bad and as drastic as kind of Vertonghen's went with us. But I think that we'll see less and less of him, and he'll be in a lot of more of the European games and things like that, playing once a week. And I do enjoy seeing Sanchez play. I like him, and I don't mind having Eric Dyer there. But I just would have wanted someone else to come in, proven at the back, a leader at the back. That's won things and can lead from that place. I always think, you should always be leading from the back. That's just always been my thing. Always loved it when Ledley King was captain and, shouting at everyone. And that's just my personal opinion. So I think that's somewhere that, because we haven't done it, I think January, I think that's what we'll do in January. Because, we really don't need any more midfielders, in my opinion. I don't think we need anyone else up top. So, and now we've got 2 fullbacks. So that is the only real key area I think that we were missing to make that 10 out of 10. But I think that we can go in we've got 2 months until the window opens again. I think we'll be all right. And like we said, with Ledley King coming in, it can only be a welcome recruitment and a good face to have around there. You want club legends, especially ones that were so good. And I think we all know if it wasn't for his knee, he would have probably been one of England's best centre backs of all time as well. So just a shame that happened. But I think that'll be the one thing in January that Jose will go back in for.
Yeah, I think Ledley is also good for. I'm saying Ledley like I know him. I think Ledley King's also good to bring in for integrating the youth into the first team as well. He's been there, he's done it. I think it's always good to have someone club legends stay within the sort of structure of the team as well, and especially people who have come from the club's youth as well into the first team. Steve, I know you looked around at a few transfers Tottenham were looked at players who they'd brought in already. You looked at who were they looking at centre back?
They was looking at Skriniar, and they're also looking at the young guy from Swansea, who
Joe Rodon.
Joe Rodon, who West Ham seems to be putting their paws into the water as well to try and get hold of him. But like Abby's right. I mean, in January they'll go in, and I'm pretty sure they'll get a defender. Skriniar would have been perfect, and maybe they'll go back in for him. Am I right in saying he's at Napoli? Is he at Napoli?
Inter.
Yeah, Inter.
Oh well, thank God he ain't at Napoli, so you might have half a chance.
Yeah, because it'd be ours.
But no, I would definitely, but it's like Abby said, they don't need a lot. They don't need a lot. I mean, what they've done this window is up there with probably the best, along with Everton, of what any team's done this transfer window.
Do you think it's a case of that they're probably going to wait for Skriniar, or do you reckon they're actively try and pursue Rodden before this UK window shuts?
I think they'll wait for Skriniar. I would wait for Skriniar. I think if you're Jose Mourinho, getting into Mourinho's head, that's what he would do. I think you're looking at Sanchez, putting someone like Rodon next to him. Dyer is not my favourite player at Spurs from all the others. I think Spurs could really change him and put in someone a lot better and next to Sanchez. Getting someone like Rodon next to Sanchez, I don't think it's something Mourinho's doing. I don't think it's something that's good for Spurs. If they got him along with Skriniar and they brought him through, but then again, they've got Taganga there, who I've watched him quite a lot. Once this kid gets into the Tottenham side, and once you see him, you're talking about Ledley King. I think this kid could be not on that level because he's just started, but I can see him going up the ladder to be someone like that. He's special. He is, and I'm sure Abby and
in his game.
If I was Tottenham, I would go for the lad from Swansea. I wouldn't go for Skriniar, because for me, Skriniar is the same as Koulibaly. They're both bang average centre backs. They're not good. They look good in their league, but when it comes to the Champions League and Europa League, watch both of them centre backs. They both get spun like bottle tops.
But what is it that they're good at? Is it they're athletes? Because Koulibaly's an athlete. He's like
Koulibaly's an athlete, but he's also an headless chicken.
The athlete.
He's also an headless chicken. Skriniar is an headless chicken. Watching the games in the Europa League and the Champions League, right? I've said this on multiple occasions. Skriniar looks good with Inter Milan because nobody else in that league ever comes anywhere near to pressing them as much as they do in the Europa League or the Champions League. Koulibaly, everyone rated about him and said that he was amazing and the next best thing, and Liverpool should put him next to Van Dijk. When he came to the Emirates, Torreira spun him. Ramsey spun him. Arsenal alone spun him. He didn't know what he was doing. Literally, he was spun so much, he didn't know if he were left, right, whatsoever. For me, Koulibaly is bang average. And Man United fans saying that they want him next to Maguire, please make it happen, because for me, it's Comedy Central. It's absolutely brilliant, because Koulibaly is overrated. Harry Maguire is overrated. For me, Skriniar would not improve Tottenham whatsoever. If anything, it'd make more work for Davison Sanchez to deal with, and Doherty as well from the right wing. Their best choice, Tottenham, for me, is the guy from Swansea, because he's already playing in England, he's level-headed, and he's already in a competitive league, which is the Championship. He'd fit straight in at Tottenham.
All right, so Jerome, you had a look at both.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wow.
You had a look at both. Wait, this is everything you side. So, Jerome had a look at both. Jerome's had a look at both. Tell us. Give us the 4-1-1. Who's better? Who would you go for?
If he says Skriniar, I'm leaving. I resign if he says Skriniar.
See you later.
One's got a release clause for about 50 million quid, and the other one plays in the Championship. It's hard to really compare them. So with Joe Rodon, obviously he's at Swansea. This is his boyhood club. All his family supported him. He's been with them since he was 8 years old. Physically, he's a monster. He's 6'4". He's quite broad. They've compared him a bit to John Stones. In terms of being like a ball-playing centre-back, but to be honest, these days, who isn't a ball-playing centre-back? You've all got to be. All these centre-backs got to be comfortable on the ball. Very, very dominant in the air, very brave. For a 22-year-old, he's already played over 50 times for Swansea in the Championship, and he would have played a hell of a lot more. But he picked up a couple of big injuries the last couple of years. Like he had an ankle injury, kept him out for about 15 games. Wow. Fractured his metatarsal, that kept him out for about 10 games. Giggs really rates him. Obviously, that's his national team manager. He's already played for Wales 5 times. Giggs has compared him to Gary Pallister. To be honest, Gary Pallister was a bit before my time, so I thought
he was the original ball-playing centre-back, mate.
Right, okay, yeah.
Know your role, kid.
In terms of like the transfer fee, I'd imagine that he probably wouldn't cost too much. So money-wise, he's a better option than the guy at Inter Milan, but obviously it's a big jump, isn't it, from the Championship to the Premier League and playing at centre-back. You don't really see a lot of centre-backs at that young age, trusted playing. Yeah. So he must have something. He must have something to have played so many games for Swansea already. Yeah. He's got a big reputation, and he'll leave. It's just a matter of when, I think, and not if.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one, because even if you would feel that Rodon is the better player, even for the future, is what you need tried, tested, and ready right now.
Absolutely. Tottenham
aren't buying players for the future. What they need players who are coming in who are going to be better than Dyer, who's going to be better than Dyer right now to take over from him. So it's a tough one. Personally, I think they're probably going to go for Skriniar in January, and then it remains to be seen how these players adapt. We've seen players previously who teams thought were slow, and then when they came to the Premier League, they adapted in different ways because they had to read the game differently. And I mean, look at Thiago Silva in his first game with Chelsea. He was bang average and dog awful, getting spun all over the gaff. After that, he looks a different player because he's learning the league, he's adapting, and that takes time. So it remains to be seen. But they're both top players, and I feel like Tottenham are going to be bringing someone in January. Youth development. Okay, so we've got a few players coming through at Tottenham. Jamie Bowden looks a very tidy player. I like the fact that he gets stuck in, even though he's got a small frame, very good pass on the ball. But one player who looks the closest to sort of pushing through from the youth at the moment is out on loan. He's meant to be taken, given an option other than Harry Kane, is Troy Parrott. How far do you think he's off of not necessarily coming into the Tottenham squad and being a competition for Harry Kane, but being an option, being one of them options next to Harry Kane? How far do you think he is off of that, Jamie?
Blimey. Still, he's got to prove himself first. I mean, he's not had a lot of senior football at all. So, do you know one thing that I've really been pleased with at Spurs that's come in and changed is that we've started loaning players out. I think under Pochettino, we kept a lot of players. You see, Walker Peters, I think he was a very talented right back, but a lot of the time he was kind of kept in the squad. He was kept around at Spurs by Pochettino, and that kind of stunted his growth, really. So it's good to see that Parrott's going out and getting that experience of first-team football. We saw that with Harry Kane. That really made him kind of the player he is today. It kind of made him work for it, and so that can only be a positive thing. He's obviously very talented at youth level. He scored a serious amount of goals. But it's going to be interesting to see him at championship level. I think that he's probably a couple of years, 2 or 3 years off being a regular at Spurs. So I think we'll see a couple more loans before he'll have that proper first team opportunity. I think under Jose Mourinho, it was kind of that attitude problem, and he wasn't quite that guy that was willing to fight for everything at Spurs. Like we have said, we've established That's what Jose Mourinho wants from his players. So, but I think going out on loan and playing that regular first team football is going to be a really good thing for him. But I think it'll be 2 or 3 years maybe before we start seeing Troy Parrott probably at Spurs.
Yeah. Abbi, Troy was one of the people that Jose gave the treatment of, what was his words? He's not ready. And some people thought that was harsh. Do you feel that was harsh from the manager, or was just a few home truths?
I think he's so young. So I think to say it's like home truths, it probably is. At that age, I mean, look, he allowed him to take a penalty against Norwich in that knockout, in that penalty shootout, which I think, he kind of trusted him, gave him the opportunity to do it. Obviously didn't hit the back of the net, but he came on during that game. I think Jose kind of was like seeing what he was about a bit. And I think Jamie touched on it, that I think it's been said he hasn't maybe got the best group of people around him at the minute. So loaning him out is definitely probably the best option. I mean, saying that, who better to learn from than Harry Kane? But he is so young, and you've got to think about it. Harry Kane didn't kind of break into the side till he went on loan like 4 or 5 times. And obviously that worked out pretty well. So I've got no issue with loaning him out, get the game time, because as much as I would have liked to see him come off the bench, last season and things like that, obviously he wasn't ready. And I think sometimes if you put a player on too soon, I think it just doesn't help anyone, and they get really lost in it. And I think on the times and occasions he did come on, he was quite lost, even in those like 10, 15-minute cameos. So for me, loaning him out, I don't think Jose's really got any type of agenda on him, any issue with him. I think it's just purely for development and growth. And loaning him out, he gets game time, knows how to play in a competitive game, championship level. I think that cannot hurt a player, and being so young, that's what you need. He needs to have the responsibility of playing every week, and trying to get goals and improving his game. So by the time he comes back at the end of the season, he will have developed a little bit more. They'll review it. If they think that there's legs to it, they'll obviously keep him. If not, they'll send him back out on loan. And I think it can only be a good thing for us. And at the minute, he's not going to get anywhere near that starting 11 or even in the squad at the moment. We've just got way too many ready-made attacking options. So it's the best for all round at this moment of time. Go out, get your game time, get your experience.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can have a season at the Dead and survive that, that's
tough place to go.
That's going to stand you in good stead. Trust me, South East boys, they don't mess around.
They weren't joking with that loan. They were like, go out.
Go out and become a man. Jerome, you had a little look at him. What do you think he's got to offer?
Goals. He's just a goal scorer, isn't he? I think the guys touched on earlier, his goal scoring record for the youth teams at Spurs is excellent. Also for the Irish under 21s, I think he scored 4 goals in 4 games. To toughen him up, I think they'll probably, when the fans come back, they'll sit him in the stands with the fans. But yeah, I think as fans, we're all very impatient, aren't we? And we see a player coming through, and we're like, you want them to play, but in reality, it's as Abbi said, he's so young still. He's 18. Like, another couple of seasons, playing competitive football every week rather than in the youth teams. That's where he's going to really sort of develop. He strikes me as, I don't know if this is not doing him any credit, but like an old-fashioned centre forward. Like, he just stays sort of near. It's quite central. Doesn't really go out to the wing and start taking players on. He's there in the team to score goals.
Robbie Kane.
Yeah, Robbie Keane, if you like. He's got a good build as well. He's 6'1". He's got a good physique. So yeah, see how he develops over the next year or so.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to a couple of people down at Millwall, and they said he's been unlucky with injuries recently. Yeah, he had a good 45 minutes in the EFL trophy in the EFL Cup. Looked good, got injured, unfortunately, but they're hearing good things in training. So once he gets.
Another one sorry to interrupt you, another one that's gone out on loan that's apparently that they're raving about is Oliver Skipp at Norwich.
Oliver Skipp's a decent player. I rate Oliver Skipp.
Needing again, another one. Needed
he's a bowler.
Needed to go out on loan. You know,
100%.
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't the level he needed to be at. Go out on loan, get your game time, come back. He'll be a totally different player when he comes back. They love him. You know, first game of the season on Twitter, they're saying this is exactly what we've needed, and it's like, who knew? You needed Oliver Skip.
He got their player of the month as well. So that was certainly a sign of what he's doing. But he is a really nice player, Oliver Skip. He's more of a defensive midfielder. He's fantastic at kind of hunting the ball down, and he's got lots of attributes that I think
tenacity.
That I think that Jose Mourinho will certainly like. And
Jose's already said how much he likes him as well. I mean, what confidence boost for you right before you go out on loan? No, but in a good way before you go out on loan. You know, I really rate you. You could be you could be the future captain of this club. Go out, do your craft, learn it, come back.
Yeah, so I think Jose Mourinho was kind of against the loan as well. He didn't want Oliver Skip to go out on loan. He wanted to keep him at the squad. So, that certainly says a lot about the player. So, yeah, I'm very excited for Oliver.
It's catch-22 with the loans because you want to bring them up in your own way, but you also want to give them game time. And the game time is development there, so it's needed. The final piece of the puzzle, the predictions for next season. I'm going to leave it. Go on. Abby, you go first. What's your predictions for next season?
For where we're going to finish for this season, where we're going to finish?
Oh, sorry, this season. I forget. It's merged.
I think this is obviously based off of if we're going to carry on playing how we're playing. This can go really sour.
I'm going to write this down. I'm writing this down there.
We'll dig this up and replay at the end of the season.
Come Sunday, we could lose to West Ham, and I'll feel totally different. Knowing us.
Abby says Tottenham will.
I think based on what I've seen so far, I think we'll finish third, which is a totally different prediction I would have given you before. And I'm only saying
conservative.
And I'm only saying third because I want to see how consistent this is. Mm-hmm. So I'm going a bit light on the third. I think we'll definitely win one trophy, potentially two. I don't know what they are.
All right.
I don't know what they are, but at least
just leave it as that. Leave it as that. All right, Jamie, your turn. What you got for me?
Yeah, look, I think that Abby was spot on earlier. I think that it's all about keeping the players fit. I think if you can keep those front three fit, then you've got, that's going to be a serious attacking threat you've got there. Harry Kane's problem has been that he's kind of picked up those injuries in the past. So if he can stay fit, Spurs have got a really good chance. But do you know what? I'm going to say the same as well. I do think third at the moment. I think it's too early to kind of predict Spurs going and winning the title. That's definitely too early. But I think, as we said, it's about winning that trophy. Spurs need to end that 12-year wait for a trophy. I think as a club, it's kind of that thing that's hanging over us at the moment. And it's kind of a mental block, and we just need to kind of get rid of that. And once we've done that, I'm sure that we'll be able to kick on and maybe win a few more. But I can see us winning at least one trophy this year, and I think that will probably be. I think he can go and win the Europa League again. You see his record in that competition; he knows how to win it. I think he's certainly got a talented enough squad there, a very, very talented first 11 as well. So I think it's kind of no longer kind of that hope at Spurs that we'll win a trophy. I think it's an expectancy now that Spurs have to go and deliver a trophy this season, given the quality of this team. So, I think third and I'm actually going to say two trophies. I'm going to say the League Cup and the Europa League.
See, look how in agreement we are now.
I know.
You didn't name them. Jamie named them. I
love the optimism.
Jamie named them.
I don't care what we win. I said one trophy at least, and I don't care what it is. I don't care what they are.
You're going to have to send me the link, Abby, for this tape that you used to read.
So, predictions for the forthcoming season.
I think Tottenham will finish fourth, and I think you'll get to the final of the FA Cup, but you won't win it. Right, because the problem with Tottenham is your players at the minute. They haven't got a winning mentality. I know that there's new players that have come in, and Jose is the manager, but it's still the same players that Pochettino had. And you can't say that Poch didn't do his job because he got you to a Champions League final against all odds. And you still didn't do anything in that final. If anything, playing Kane hindered you. Well, that's just me. But I do see you getting to the final of the FA Cup, but I don't think you'll win it. But it's progression. if you get to a final. It is with Mourinho, it is because then the board will look at it and they'll go, this is the player that I need. He's not good enough because he's not got a winning mentality. We'll bring this player in because he has a winning mentality. And that's what I think it'll be.
I do think we have gone and signed some players that have won trophies, though. You see
Agreed.
Gareth Bale come in, Reguilon, who won the Europa League last year, Joe Hart come in. So there's now players in that dressing room that know how to win trophies.
I get that. I do
100%.
get that. I do get that. But you look at Man United's team under Mourinho and how many winners were in there. They did win the FA Cup, I know, but they did know how to get over a line. Same as Arsenal. The players that Mikel Arteta got, they weren't good players. They were bang average. They should not be here, but they're winners. They know how to do it on the day. That's the thing. With Mourinho, he will know what players to bring in after this season.
I think he's already done that. I think he's already. Sorry, I think you were going to say the same. He's already done it. It's not the same team that was under Pochettino. You know, there's no Kieran Trippier.
Exactly right.
There's no Danny Rose. There's no, who else do we even have? There's no Vertonghen anymore. There's no Dembele anymore. It's a totally different team. I mean, you've got Harry Kane, you've got Son, you've got Lucas, but like the whole core of your team is different. There was no Tanguy and Dembele. Yeah. There was no Lo Celso back. You know, when we got to that Champions League final, Jamie will tell you as well. You know, it was against all odds, and you know, we really scraped it to get there. You know, we had a terrible end to that season. It really was the unravelling, and it papered over so many cracks. Which obviously then unravelled, you know, last season, which we saw. So I think it's harsh to say that, you know, he's trying to instill a mentality that for sure Tottenham haven't had. And now I think that he has already started, if not already brought them in, with those people with the winning mentality. Joe Hart, you know, Lloris has won the World Cup. There's plenty in that team, even down to Hoiberg, who's got a far more winning mentality than I'd say other members of our team have had over, you know, recent years. So I think it's a bit harsh to say that we would get to that and then we wouldn't be able to go over the line. I think it's a different kettle of fish now than under Pochettino. And also with Poch, he'd never made it to any of those finals before. And we've seen so many weird decisions on the day, you know, sticking Son at like left back, and weird things when, you know, you'd see the lineup and you've been like, why has he done that? And you always trusted Poch, you always backed him. But then I think that there's some things that, you know, he might have changed too much on the day. And he didn't, you know, the Champions League final was a totally different thing because Liverpool had been there the year before. It wasn't their first time. So they went there against Madrid. They went there to play a game. Madrid said, no, that's not how you win the Champions League final. You sit back, you invite it on, you hit you on the break. And Liverpool did that to us. Obviously, we gave away a penalty 23 seconds in. It's still very controversial, but we gave them a leg up anyway. But again, we went there to play a game and Liverpool didn't. That is why Liverpool ended up winning it. And they would have won it inevitably because I don't think that we set up in the right way. Nothing to do with Harry Kane. I always would have played him. I think you play your best player regardless. But I think that the manager, I think Jose knows much better how to handle a final. He's been in so many. So I think that's also part of getting it over the line.
I've always said with Harry Kane, he's an absolute world-class striker on his day. He's unbelievable. But the thing with Harry Kane, he has not got a winning mentality. And this is what I've always said. When it came to England in that semi-final, all he had to do was square the ball, and he didn't. And a famous word from Thierry Henry was basically, if you can score yourself, but there's another player that has a better chance to win you the game, play it to the other person. And that's what Henry always did, and that's why he sits on 30 assists.
But back on previously, where you said they don't have a winning mentality. One, I think that he's brought in players to counteract that. Two, I think part of all this saying that calling people out and then seeing how they react. Ndombele wanted to go. He now wants to stay. That's a change of mentality. That's in my eyes, that's a winning mentality now. I'm not going to be defeated by a few words. I'm a winner. I'm taking it on. I'm doing this. I'm going to show you. And that's what he does. Even the little things. Like I feel like not shaking Son's hand because he's shaking the hands of all the other managers and the staff. Son goes to talk to him, ignores it. Little things like that. Just to show where you are, who you are in the team. I'm in charge. You listen to what I say. If you don't, you're not going to play.
Exactly.
Steve,
that's it. If you listen to Mourinho, you get a trophy. That's it. If you listen to Mourinho,
you want to get hyped up. It's when you say you get fifth spot, I'll win you the Europa League, and that's what he said to the players. And will he do it? I don't know, but he's going to give it a damn good try. And I personally think they could win a trophy this year. Whether Europa League, I don't know. Different type of football, I don't know. I think it'll be the Carling Cup, but it's a start, and that's where you got to start from. That's what he usually does. That's his blueprint. Steve, what do you think the predictions for this season are?
Sorry, mate, you're fully written.
What's predictions for the season?
Yeah. I mean, Abbi stole me thunder a little bit. It's nowhere near the same team as Poch. I mean, he's brought 5-6 players in, so it's nowhere near Pochettino's team, and they're playing a totally different way. I think this is going to be the hardest league this year to work out who finishes where. I think they will win a cup. I'm pretty sure of that. But like the cups, you don't know. It all depends who you draw. Do you know what I mean? You might draw. So, you might draw two teams in the final. You might get, and you might be favourites, and you win them. So you just don't know with cups. It's the luck of the draw. As far as where they finish, all I can look at this early in the season is how strong the squads are and how well they're doing. And I've got to say exactly what Abbi and Jamie left, and that they'll finish third.
Thank you very much.
Because their squad is third best squad. Simple as that.
All right, Jerome, what are you saying?
I'm not going to be as bullish as everyone else. I think looking at Spurs as like not being a Spurs fan, I think they've got some excellent players, but what I think is going to have a large factor, or really determine where they finish, is what happens with Gareth Bale, because he's the game changer. They've got some excellent players. They're very, very good team, but if Bale hits the ground running, and if he finds the same form that he had before he left, then he's the sort of player that can win games, and he can win stuff on his own, Bale. So if he is on form, and really on form, then possibly third, they could finish. If he's not 100% Bale, or if he's not as he was, maybe fourth, fifth. But if Bale is on form, they are a danger to anyone.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah. I mean, no one's mentioned Son, have we? I mean,
I love Son. I love Son. Honestly, he's the man. He's mustard.
Can I ask one thing? Can I ask the guys one thing? With Son, he predominantly plays on the left. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen with Bale? Will he? Who's going to go on to the right?
I mean, Son can kind of play on both, to be fair. And I mean, we see him kind of switch throughout games anyway. Yeah. So I think he'll put back. But again, Gareth Bale's also openly said he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play in the middle. So just means that you won't know where either of them are. You've got to keep your wits about you.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Spurs edition. Over and done with. Thank you very much, Jamie Brown from Daily Hotspur. I'm pretending there's like some big claps. Like I'm still waiting for my sound effects to come in.
Thank you very much for having me. And I've got to say, actually, guys, I think you've done a fantastic job this summer in terms of covering all the transfers. I've kind of been keeping update with you on Twitter. So I thought, I didn't say it on the last edition, so I thought I'd say it this edition. So yeah, well done to you guys.
I appreciate that, Jamie. Appreciate that. And Abbi Summers, thank you very much for coming and joining us this week.
You are so welcome. So happy to see you twice in 1 week. You've made my week.
Gosh. Boom.
Thank you for blessing our screen.
Oh, thank you for blessing mine.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope everyone enjoyed the Spurs edition. Before you go, where can everyone find you? Jamie, you first. Abbi, you next.
I'm pretty much only on Twitter. So as you can see, my Twitter handle is on the screen. It's daily_Spurs. That's where I'm at. And then Jamie B. Coy is on Twitter and Instagram.
Cool. And Abbi?
Abbi_Summers on Twitter. My Instagram is on there, but it is private, so don't be upset if I don't accept But yeah, mainly on Twitter. As I said, new article coming up tonight. I think it's at 10 o'clock from the Spurs web. So that is all about can Tottenham win the league. So you'll see the full review on that one later on today.
Cool. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. We'll definitely have you back soon.
Perfect.
Sorry, we're going to
you.
destroy Man United fans now by Sancho. It's all right.
See you later.
Take care.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Bye.
See ya.
Oh, I just got rid of Simon by accident.
That's me done. See ya.
Accidentally on purpose.
All right.
Man's still got Thomas
to be
Partey
fair-
at the bottom.
To be fair, Simon, yeah, has been going around all week, licking door handles, shaking hands with random strangers, trying his best to get COVID just so he didn't have to do tonight. And to be fair, Simon, I'll give you that. All right, I'll give you that.
I still stand by
done.
it. They'll finish fourth, but they won't win the trophy.
All right, Simon. All right. Stop. All right. You done well. You're all right. You've done well. His ears are bleeding. Nose is bleeding a lot. But he done it. He got through it. We're now going to go into the Guardian Next Generation 2020 Top 60. And we have given the voice. This is the voice. A.K.A. the marksman. A.K.A. Jerome Marks. 2 players to talk about this week. Get your cup of tea. Put your feet up. Get your blanket out. Because it's time for the bedtime stories.
That's us copyrighted.
Late night love songs.
Late night love songs. Good. We got through Jerome.
Oh wow. Where shall we start? We'll start with a player for Leon, a 17-year-old that goes by the name of Ryan Cherky. So he's similar to the next player we'll go on to. He became the youngest scorer for Lyon at 16 years of age. He's a midfielder that can play really anywhere across the midfield, especially in a 4-3-3. So in one of those midfield positions. He's appeared in all 6 league games this season. Mm-hmm. He's very eye-catching. When you watch Leon play, this guy really sort of stands out. Mainly, he's got some outrageous skills. Left-footed. The coach that he works under says he needs to work on his defensive side of his game, but to be honest, he's the sort of player that I don't think he's in the team for that. He's in the team to create and
out of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. He's not that sort of defensive player. Obviously, he needs to work hard. All players need to work hard. He's got very, very quick feet, excellent vision. He beats players for fun. And to be honest with you, when I've seen him play, he stood out more. He's a different player, but he stood out more than Hossein Aouar. I'm not saying he's a better player than him, but he just grabs your attention, I think.
Yeah,
and he's so young. He's playing in Lyon's first team at 17. It's amazing.
And he was playing last season as well at 16.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, in the midfield position, in a very position. Excellent play. And he's been with Lyon since 2010, so he's grown up there. Yeah. That's his team since he was 7. So really like this player. Really like him a lot. And people say, can you just imagine where he'll be in 3 or 4 years' time? There'll be a lot of clubs after him. He's as Jerome's saying, he's a serious talent. So whenever you get to see Lyon, it probably won't be more in the early parts of the season, possibly more later on in the season. You'll get to see him a bit more because he does tend to just come on later on in the games at the moment. But he's seriously one to watch. Yeah, excellent player. So the next player is a player for Ajax. Again, only 17. He's called, I might pronounce this wrong, Nassi Univar. Yeah, he's done well. Yeah. So he's a Dutch youth international, but his heritage is from Turkey. Now he's been with Ajax again since he was very young, since he was 8. And just like Cherky from Lyon, he became Ajax's youngest goal scorer at 16 last season. He came on in a cup game. They were 6-0 up. He came on, I think it might have been for his debut. Came on, won a penalty, asked some of the senior players if he could take it, and took it, sent the keeper the wrong way, and scored. He's what I would describe as a playmaker.
Yeah.
He's got lovely touches with the outside of his foot. Uses his studs a lot, a little bit like, remember Adel Taarabt?
Yeah.
Like he's got that sort of way about him.
Perfect description.
Yeah, they say that obviously he's a central player, but he might play quite a bit initially out, maybe more wide, just give him a bit more space. Which I think, Wenger used to do that a lot, didn't he? He used to play players sort of out wide. They have a bit more time on the ball rather than inside where it's all busy and you don't have as much time on the ball. But yeah, really high expectations for this guy. He's not the reason why they've sold a couple of players like Ziyech and Van der Beek, but Ajax might feel more comfortable selling those players, knowing that they've got this guy sort of coming through the ranks.
Yeah,
perhaps.
And like you were saying, he may be deployed on the wing initially, first of all, but he'd probably be playing more of a central, a little bit more advanced position.
Yeah.
What if you get an opportunity to see any Ajax youth games, under 23s, whatever, and this guy's playing, watch it. Even if you can go and watch old games with him playing, he controls the midfield. He controls the game. Gets the balls, little spins, even the little deft touches on the turn. It's so good to watch. It's like watching one of the Brazilians from back in the day. He's definitely something special.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep an eye on these players, and I'm sure Steve was impressed with the two you've given today, because Steve's a big youth fan. It's the time for the transfer roundup, and I'm sure you was probably thinking to yourself, but there's no transfers, kids. It's all over. The transfer window's closed. Well, it's not. It's actually still open. The UK transfer window is still open, and players are getting bought. Also, we're going to do a little bit of a recap of the deadline day transfers. We're going to touch on any transfer deals that didn't go through, news we've heard afterwards, and basically just give you a little roundup of what happened all last week. That's what the transfer roundup is. So, what could be one of the last ones for a little while? It's the transfer roundup. All right. Napoli were outdone again by a Premier League team. This time, it was Brighton, the heavyweights of the Premier League. Outdone Napoli for the services of Polish fullback Michael Karbwinik of Liga Warsaw. He went to Brighton for £4.9 million. And the reason why he went to Brighton was because they were able to offer more up front as opposed to Napoli's structured pay. And I mean, if Napoli, any deals that they're basically involved in at the moment either take ridiculously long or don't happen. Two examples is the Koulibaly one and the Gabriel deal, which was based on the Koulibaly one, which was if we sell Koulibaly, we come and buy Gabriel. Well, Gabriel would still be sitting there now if it was on that basis. So, yeah, Napoli in business, you'll come to hear a lot of the time, it ain't that good. Don't get offended if you're a Napoli fan. Jerome, you had a little look in. What kind of a player of Brighton bought?
Yeah, so a little bit about him. He's 19. I think this player is probably one of the most versatile players that you're going to see. He's people say he's like a left back, but he'll play right back. He'll play right midfield, left midfield. He'll pop up in all different areas. I can't really nail down one position for him. I think he is just a super versatile player. So they've dubbed him like the next big thing in Polish football, and they've loaned him back to Legia Warsaw for the season. He's got a terrific burst of speed. Despite he's quite short, he's got quite a small stature, but he's very intelligent, lively, energetic. He looks excellent. He's already played for the national team, and to be linked with Napoli, to be dubbed like the next big thing in Poland, he looks a decent player. he's right-footed as well. So you know when like Philip Lam used to play left back, but was right-footed, a little bit like that. He really looks good.
Looks decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done that with a couple of players. They got 2 players from Liga Warsaw, bought them and then loaned them back. So looking forward to seeing them. Ryan Sessegnon was joined German side Hoffenheim on a season-long loan. Douglas Costa has rejoined Bayern Munich on loan. Matu Guendouzi moved to Hertha Berlin on loan. Chris Smalling said goodbye to Manchester United after moving to Roma in a £13.6 million pound move. Gerard Deulofeu moved to Udinese on loan. A lot of loan moves. Everton managed to get Sandro Ramirez off the books. I mean, we spoke about that when I think that's the first team edition we done when we ran through some of the players that are still on the books at Everton. And I couldn't believe that Sandro Ramirez was still there. And I said they needed to get rid of him, whatever way that was. And it looks like they did it. They released him on a free mutual termination of the contract. Lucas Torreira moved to Atletico Madrid on a season-long loan. Conflicting things say once. I think his agent came out the other day and confirmed that it's only a loan deal and not a loan obligation or loan option to buy. So either way, I think that plays in Arsenal's favour because Lucas Torreira is going to go there to have a banging season. He should feel more comfortable. Spanish-speaking league, hot weather, that's very important. So hopefully he has a good season, comes back, and then Arsenal could sell him for more. If Atletico Madrid really have the hump with Arsenal, they'll soon get over it when they've got to pay for a player that they want. Celtic signed Diego Laxit from AC Milan. Rangers signed Bogoni Zunga from Amini on free. Ben Godfrey signed for Everton for £25 million. Alex Telles finally joined Man United from Porto on deadline day for £13.6 million. Edson Cavani, as we spoke to Simon Edwards, joined Man United on a free transfer. Fulham signed Joachim Anderson on loan from Lyon. Robin Olsen joined from Everton to challenge Jordan Pickford. I mean, a lot of fans aren't happy with Jordan Pickford from Everton. England fans are a bit dubious about Jordan Pickford. Is it Jordan Pickford's? Has he been found out? I mean, it's a bit harsh, but what we saying on Jordan Pickford? Steve, what do you think of Jordan Pickford?
Yeah,
I think that's Si said it, didn't it?
I don't think Everton are going to get where they want to be with Jordan Pickford as their number one. I think Angelotti's intelligent enough, and he's seen enough of Jordan Pickford since he's been there. Mistake after mistake. He seems to be very similar to David De Gea. He's got this crazy mind. He's not one of these goalkeepers where you can feel safe. I doubt if his defence feels safe with him behind. He's awful when he's coming out for the ball. He's awful catching the ball. He's awful playing the ball out. Okay, he's a pretty good shot stopper, but he's, for me,
awful.
He's awful. being England's number one, which we keep getting told, he's number one. He's England's number one. Well, there ain't a lot of competition to be England's number one at the moment, so I don't take that as anything to write home about. I think they've got to get rid of him. I think he's when he first came to Everton, he was this big thing. Everyone thought he was going to be the big next thing, but no. I think Ancelotti, as soon as he can get a decent goalkeeper, he will. And
but what is it? What is it about? What is it about players from relegated teams that us in England get so hyped up about? Because we seem to do it all the time. Look, Jordan Pickford was in the team. Oh, sorry, mate, I've kept you on mute. Jordan Pickford was in the team in a team that got relegated in Sunderland, and
one World Cup.
Yeah, and he he was busy while he was at Sunderland, but the hype that was around him when he was coming through, and when Everton were linked with him, when Everton paid the £30 million for him, it's like okay, this keeper's young. He's not yet been in a team which hasn't been peppered for 60, 70 minutes of the game. Like, it's a completely different goalkeeper that you need. It's going to be coming in and has to stand there and not do anything, command his area, command the team, command his defence, and then in the 70th minute make or save or grab a catch. Like, what is it with English press that loves to hype up young players, Jerome? And then smash them down.
One World Cup, that's all it is. One World Cup, that's all he's living off. It's been crap. He's rubbish at playing out from the back. He's rubbish at distribution. He's rubbish at organising a wall when it's a free kick. He's rubbish at organising his centre-backs when it comes for a corner. He's a rubbish shot stopper. His best part was when he was at Sunderland, because that was his level. He had one World Cup and England got to a semi-final. And he was the goalkeeper.
Before the World Cup. But before the World Cup, this guy was...
He was no crap then.
I know, but this guy's labelled as the next big thing.
Because England got to a World Cup. David Seaman could be in goal. And he would still get the stuff that Jordan Pickford gets. I do not understand, right, when Everton have brought this guy from Sweden as a backup. Once he gets in goal, Pickford ain't getting back in goal. I tell you now, I will put my month's wages on it. No, stuff it. Yearly wages on it.
I agree with you. I don't think you're bringing in, like, they've got a second goalkeeper at Everton. I don't think they're bringing in a keeper age-wise that potentially you're not looking to take over from Pickford. There's no point in bringing in a keeper now, especially with all the talk around Pickford, that's not potentially going to go in there to be the number one.
There's a reason why they play in the championship goalkeepers, and that's because they're championship standard. So, like you said, I don't understand. I mean, how many footballers coming from the championship, like you said, go into a Premier League and end up being a hit?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think now, and I can't think of any. They probably obviously are, but I can't think of any at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think Jordan Pickford is not top six level at the moment. I mean, he's still young, and that's the thing. He's learning on the job. Whereas most of these other goalkeepers, they usually gone to other clubs. They get their time. They learn their craft elsewhere. Jordan Pickford's been in it since he was 19 at Sunderland. He's coming through at Everton. I mean, no top six club really plays goalkeepers that young. It's very rare.
I think he believes his own hype.
I'd rather have a Sabutio goalkeeper.
I think he believes his own hype.
I think that's what it is. I think that's one of his main problems, Steve. Goalkeepers is a fine line. You've got to be confident. You've got to believe. You are the best. Otherwise, there's no point. You have to believe you're the best. When you believe you're the best and that no one can score past you, you are your best. Once you start doubting that, that's it. But there's a fine line between believing you're the best and being cocky. There's a mentality thing that you have to believe you're the best, and then there's another switch where it's, no, you're cocky. And I believe...
And he comes across cocky, doesn't he?
I believe I believe Jordan Pickford's cocky. I think he's too cocky. He's
riding off that save.
And he doesn't, and I don't think he believes it anymore. I don't think he believes it. I think what he's doing now is more of a front. I don't think he believes that he's as good. I think if things would have got into his head, he would have seen performances, mistakes that he's made. He knows mistakes that he's made. Don't trust me. Towards the end of last season, when that ball ran through his legs and then he caught it on the line, he would have thought about that afterwards. Lo and behold, it was no coincidence that in the next game or a game after, he had another fluff, because he's not there. He's playing tricks in his own head. I don't think he's got the same confidence that he used to have, and I think that this persona that he's pushing out is comes across as cocky because he's faking it. I don't think he's mentally there anymore. I think he's doubting himself, and he knows there's no goalkeeper there.
Angelotti should have gone and got Martinez. He would have been perfect.
He should have done.
Absolutely perfect for Everton.
He should have done. But what he's lost is Aston Villa's game, and I think they've shored up their team with him in goal. Man United signed Faduko Palisti. Jerome spoke about him last week, backed up by Simon Edwards. And I have to say, Jerome, your description of him
nailed it.
It was nailed it compared with Simon's. It was brilliant. You could put them two together, and they complement each other as well. Because Simon's gave it a different spin on it. Gave it like the sort of he adds that sort of twang to it, doesn't he? You say, can you handle it on a rainy night in Stoke? Can you handle it in the middle? And you're like, what? That sounded well authentic. Boom. Bonus points.
We have to give them their own. You have to have their own show, mate. They have to have their own show. Jerome and Simon.
Only if it's on my channel, all right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They got him instead of Jadon Sancho. Also, they also brought in Ahmed Diallo, or it's Ahmed Traore, his brother's Ahmed Traore as well. Two top prospects for the future. I'm very excited about seeing Traore, and I'm hoping that he doesn't just go straight into the under 23s. I'm hoping he gets some game time. But Simon, we heard a bit more on the Jadon Sancho saga with regards to he's not being happy about the deal not getting done. Obviously, there was talk that he was going to hand in a transfer request. A lot of people saying he will hand in a transfer request. And it was one thing we said he would never do. But we did get a bit of information where we heard that although he did hand in a transfer request, he wasn't happy that things couldn't get moving, things couldn't get done. Talk away.
Basically, what I was told is that, I've been on this transfer from day one. If Jadon Sancho, I can't say a word, but if Jadon Sancho had a number 2, I knew about it, put it that way. But the thing with Sancho, he was told by Manchester United that we're coming in for you, that we will pay the money. Man United's words and Ed Woodward's words, what I've been told, and this is very good authority, and you know it as well, Kieran, because I've told you, is that Man United were going to pay the money for Sancho, but they wanted to see if they could get him at a cheaper price, or because of COVID. They've told him from day one that they're coming in for him. They've agreed personal terms with him. Agent fees were not the issue whatsoever. Obviously, Sancho's agent kind of towards the end took the piss a little bit, but United still dealt with it. They weren't looking at any alternatives. They had Gareth Bale and Ismail Assar from Watford as kind of backups, but this is how confident that they thought Borussia Dortmund were just going to cave in and just give him for basically what United wanted. And they didn't agree with, not personal terms, but basically with Ismail Assar, with Gareth Bale, they didn't go into full details with it, if you get what I mean. Mm-hmm. They were that confident that Jadon Sancho was going to happen. So Ed Woodward got in touch with Sancho himself, spoke numerous times that he were going to come in for him, told him not to worry or anything like that. There were rumours about him putting in a transfer request. I got on the phone straight away to my guy. He got back in touch with me and said it's just bullshit to begin with. Sorry for that language, but it just is. Jadon Sancho is not going to put in a transfer request because he has too much respect for Dortmund, because they're the ones that have brought him onto the stage.
But this is what we was told early doors. I remember Steve coming up like from the very get go when he'd spoken to one of the links in Germany, and she, it was Marie, wasn't it, Steve? And she said, from the people that she speaks to, they have said there is no way Jadon Sancho will be handing a transfer request. 3 months later, there's a lot of people saying he's going to hand in a transfer request, which never came to fruition. So, was you surprised about any of this situation, apart from Man United's movements?
That's it. And then when it gets to basically Man United fans thinking, we'll get him, we'll get him, we'll get him. You were playing poker, and this is their own terms, not mine. You were playing poker with a player who wasn't even at the table. That's how bad it is for Man United. Really bad. Solskjaer had numerous conversations with Sancho and his agent, and told him multiple times that they were going to pay the money and they were going to come in. They wanted to see if they could get a better deal, and it never happened. They basically lied to Jadon Sancho all summer, and now Sancho has got to a point where he's very annoyed at Man United. He's not as angry with his agent as much, but he's more angry with Man United because he could have gone somewhere else. But Man United, if you're a player, they've phoned you up, not gone through his agent, they've phoned you up to tell you that we're getting you. We will get you at the end of the window. And they were never in for him. They never knew. They never could offer the money that Dortmund wanted. And now Sancho is looking at it. It will get to next summer. Liverpool are interested.
And there's so many clubs that can come in for him.
That's
now.
it. Chelsea were interested. Arsenal were interested. And yes, you can all laugh behind the scenes. But trust me, in 2021, you will see what Arsenal are capable of. Do not rule Arsenal out of Sancho. His family's in London. His friends are in London. If he could come to London, right, come to Arsenal, the biggest team in London, with Arteta, and if we get Champions League football and go, I'm all right here, Champions League football, biggest team in London, and with my mates, why do you think he wouldn't pick that over Manchester United? But Liverpool is his preferred choice.
Steve, what next for United?
Whose fault is just like all in awe.
Whose fault is this?
Next.
Whose fault is this?
It's Ed Woodward's fault.
Then why are they talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting the sack? Why is Ed Woodward's? Why is news coming out that says Ed Woodward won't hesitate to pull the plug? Is this a way of him saving his own job?
Yeah.
That's what I just. Yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, he's just putting the blame on to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
How can you come out of a transfer window where you went to buy Jadon Sancho, you come out with Donny van der Beek and two kids that, when you was meant to buy an experienced winger, you got two kids combined age of an experienced winger. Like,
he's not a football man. He's not going over. He can't. The guy can't negotiate, and that sounds pretty ridiculous. When
it sounds silly, doesn't it? when he's a businessman.
Yeah, it sounds mad. I mean, Dortmund were absolutely furious from day one, wasn't they? They was absolutely furious.
Yeah.
They said, like you said early on, you either pay this or you walk.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah. Go away. It was like, we don't want to sell, but if you pay 120 million euros, we'll sell. I mean, all right, cool.
We're not coming down. You either pay the 109 or he's not going.
We'll see your deadline there.
But all the time,
it is.
But all the time, they for some reason they're so arrogant.
That's what it is.
So Billy Big Bollocks, right? Which I'm sorry, Man United fans, right? You're a great club, but you're not got that power anymore where you can go into any club and think that you can get a player and just bring him. Just like the snap of a finger, it's not there anymore. And it's okay if you're not that big club anymore and you're going down a bit. That's fine. That's fine. But don't go there and think when you're going to clubs like Dortmund, who are a big club themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I was told from Marie that they went there and they made a deal and they came back, and then on the Sunday papers they had in the pay, we're not going to pay Dortmund more than 50 million.
And you know what?
And Dortmund done their nut.
Yeah.
They went mad.
So they will come out and turn around and go, we didn't put out that. We didn't put out that. We didn't put out that. And it's like, don't take me for a kid. I'm not an idiot. I don't think that someone from Man United turned round, wrote an article and said, we will not pay 50 million. Send that to Dortmund. They didn't do that, you idiots. But what they did do is they rang up a friend and said, how about, as Man United, we're going to tell you that we ain't going to pay more than 50 million. Put that out there. And then when it comes to asking if that's true, we're going to deny it. Do you mind putting it out? No, don't worry. Sweet, because that's what people do. To get a message out, they leak a bit of information that they can always turn around and go, no, it didn't happen. No, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Come on, like, wake up. If you're telling me Man United didn't put it out to rattle Dortmund, you're stupid.
Their whole point of doing that was to either let Dortmund sort of look at it and go, maybe we're not going to get nothing. Maybe they're not going to pay it. But we better accept, a different fee negotiation. Or they was trying to let Sancho see the article. Then all of a sudden he sees it and thinks, bloody hell, there's a possibility that I might not be going there. I better
pressure. Yeah.
Pressure.
Yeah.
But this is it, though. This is how Ed Woodward has brainwashed Man United fans into thinking it's the Glazers' fault. It's not the Glazers at all. The Glazers have always stated that money is no issue at Manchester United. If they want a player and it will benefit them and help their squad, they will go and get that player. They've proven it over the last 6 years.
I'm sorry.
The problem is,
Nathan said it, didn't he? Nathan Ellerton said on the show. Nathan Ellerton said he don't know why the Glazers keep getting all the the stuff.
I can't understand.
They don't understand it because
it's an easy target for United fans. It's an easy target to say, look at Arsenal signing Thomas Partey. Oh, how privileged and lucky are them. Sorry, you're the same idiots that signed Di Maria, Falcao, and God knows whoever when we would have killed for that sort of player at our club. And then you want to sit there on social media and basically say, it's the Glazers. I'm never trusting the Glazers again. Get them out of my club.
I think
you never complained about them when you won the league with Sir Alex Ferguson's last year.
No, but I think what it was, is initially Man United complained about the Glazers. Initially, they moaned about the debt that was put onto their club. Initially, they moaned about a lot of things because they didn't know what the Glazers was about. Man United then went on to win multiple trophies, spent a lot of money on a lot of players, so you can't really moan about the Glazers. You have to be moaning about the structure of the club. As Steve said, Man United are trying to walk into negotiations like it's 2000, or 2002. It ain't 2002 no more, boys. You don't step into a room and immediately the player turns around and goes, do you know what? This is too good to turn down, boss. You need to do a deal. Get a deal done. Like, that's not happening anymore. That's not happening.
Let's get it right? Eddie, for Man United fans. Man United fans are a great club, right? You've got a great stadium. You've got a great history. You need a great negotiator. You need to get rid of Woodward and get someone else in, right? Because what's going to happen is sometimes attitude and way you act, sometimes that might get you an extra 30 million off or an extra 20 million off. If you're going to play the idiot, clubs are going to turn around and stick their two fingers up at you.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
They're going to
play you for more money as well.
They're never going to get Haaland.
They're never going to get Haaland. No, not being funny, Haaland's got a minimum release clause of, 50 million coming into play at the end of this season, I think it is.
Yeah,
but
2021.
I bet you any money, Dortmund try and negotiate a new contract. Because now, Haaland's in the right place. And that minimum release clause was probably put in for a specific reason. And I guarantee, the reason why is Haaland didn't want to go United is not because Man United didn't want to pay the agents' fees. It's because he didn't want to go into the under-23s, which is where you said he'd go straight into. He wanted to play first-team football. He came from a men's team, smashing in goals for Salzburg, and then he wanted to go into the under-23s and bully little kids. No, mate. No, mate. He wanted to go into a team where he could carry his progression. He never initially thought he would immediately start for Dortmund, which he hasn't. He didn't start for Dortmund straight away. He came as a sub a lot of the time and was smashing in goals as a sub. And then it was like, right, actually, no, we've got to start playing this kid from the start. Like, and he will have that kind of gratitude where it's like, do you know what? This is probably the best place for me right now. Let's tie down a new deal. Let's make sure I carry on my crushing here. And then the next move will be the big move when people spend big money. So the club that took a risk on me, they can now reap the rewards of that. Man United weren't willing to do that. So a lot of nonsense talk coming out now, which is probably to save face, which is probably again being leaked from the powers that be, because a lot of these leakages that Man United never came out with, they clearly came out with. So yeah,
because I feel sorry for that guy that Man United have signed for 30 million. Is it Torre? You and Steve know his name. Yeah. I feel sorry for him because they're talking about sticking him in under 21s.
Yeah, I worry.
You cannot do that.
Yeah, I seriously worry about him. He was the one that I worried about the most because he's one that. He's just broken to the first team at Atalanta. Okay, he wasn't starting games, but he had that feeling of, okay, I'm getting somewhere now. And yes, this is probably his dream to go and play for Man United. Paul Pogba's one of his favourite players. It's probably his dream. Like big club. He's gone from Atalanta to Man United. It's a massive move, but. Where is he going to be in 2 years' time? Where is he going to be in a year's time? If Man United aren't seeing him on a regular basis, that's a problem for me because this kid he's a talent. He's
seriously good.
And he's just he can't be washed away with teams that need to buy for the here and now. That's what they need to do.
I mean, people.
It's mostly their fans as well. Sorry, Steve. It's mostly their fans as well that I blame because I've sat watching an England game today against Belgium. And 2 United fans have turned around and gone, we should sign Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, you should, because he's a good striker. It'd be a good backup to Anthony Martial.
No.
What?
No. Calvert-Lewin, and that's the problem. Calvert-Lewin ain't going nowhere to be a backup nowhere. This is what I mean.
Of course, I bet you any money Everton behind the scenes now are trying to tie this kid down to a 5-year deal.
Yeah,
if they've got any sense.
They probably are because he's found his form. He's got his confidence. And hopefully he can carry that on because I really like to look at Calvert-Lewin.
There was the days when Man United
9 goals.
Whoever was the top player around at the time, Manchester United were the team to get him. That's not the way anymore. And that's why I think, as much as I'm a fan of Edinson Cavani, I think he's a panic buy because they just can't seem to get anyone else.
But
100%. He's been riding horses since March.
But I think, although it may be seen as a panic buy, I think that Edinson Cavani is a completely different striker to anything Man United have got, and I think it will benefit them. I think buying Edinson Cavani could benefit them because Martial's not a Cavani, Rashford's not a Cavani, Greenwood's not a Cavani, Igalo wasn't a Cavani. The closest to Cavani type player you got was probably a Lukaku, who was a bit of a bully, a lot more movement. It's different. It's a bit more of a target. They haven't got that option. They had that when they had Zlatan. It's very not one-dimensional, but it's like if it's not working up top, as you saw with Tottenham, if it's not working, it ain't going to work for the game. And that's what Man United need. They need something different.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Kane. I mean, Kane wouldn't go. I can't see Kane at Man United.
Not now, but what, 6 months ago? Yes.
Possibly 6 months.
Because Tottenham were in a hole. Tottenham were in even with Jose Mourinho, they were looking like, okay, where's this going? Okay, where's the direction?
This transfer window has done Manchester United a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, it has massively. Yeah. Personally, I only think they bought Donny van de Beek because it looked like Man City were getting Messi. In that week, that Messi looked like he was joining Man City, everyone bought players. Look at that week that Messi was looking like he was going Man City. Arsenal bought Gabriel. Man United bought Donny van de Beek. All these moves were in motion all around that Messi one because everyone was like, oh, shit. We're in trouble if Man City get Messi. Trouble. Liverpool started making movements. I guarantee
just took the words right out my mouth. As soon as that come round, that Messi thing, that was exactly the same time that that Klopp was after Dembele.
Yeah.
It
was. A lot of movements were being made around that time. Bruno Indis-Martin has joined AZ Alkmaar and seen a long loan from Stoke. Can't believe he's still there. I think he's still playing international football as well. Ruben Loftus-Cheek has joined Fulham on a season-long loan. Good move. I mean, he needs to get in the England squad, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a good move. He's good for West Brom. So, I think that's a good buy.
Felipe Anderson joined Porto on loan. Leeds signed Rennes winger Rafiana on deadline day. Jerome, you had a little look at him. What's he about? What have Leeds got?
Yeah, a 23-year-old winger. He actually only moved to Rennes last year. He was their record buyer from Sporting Lisbon. He's only spent a season at Rennes. He was about 21 million euros, so similar amount to what Leeds have bought him for. He reminds me of the way he plays I think is very, very similar to Di Maria. Very similar. Left-footed, very confident, likes to take players on. You could sort of call him maybe a little bit flash, but very confident in his own ability.
Entertainer.
Yeah, he is a bit of an entertainer. His end product is very good, but his crossing isn't the best. I think last season he was like 28th or something in terms of most successful cross percentage. But Leeds have done well because they're stocking up their wingers because they've got Helder Costa, who's decent. They've also got this Ian Poveda, who's he's wicked. I think he's really good. He's only young as well.
That was.
They got him from Ian Poveda. They got him from Man City, didn't they?
That's it. Last.
I remember. I remember bigging him up to my mate.
I've seen him this season, Poveda.
I wanted to play a profile. Did he? Tell you?
Yeah, don't worry. Poveda's coming next week. Seriously, he's got full of tricks, but I think Bielsa's kind of balanced him out a little bit. I know what you mean. He's very young as well, and but he looks exciting. He really is an exciting player. He is.
So, decent though. This Rafinha.
I was excited though to see Benrahma for West Ham because I am.
We ain't even got onto that one. We ain't got onto that one yet, Si.
No, so Joe's just got talking about basically like these exciting players. I'm excited to see that. I think at West Ham he'll be brilliant.
Marco Granic has joined Porto on a season-long loan. Sheffield United managed to get Ishmael Koulibaly on loan. Jerome, you had a little look at me as well.
Yeah, Koulibaly from Mali.
Definite charm, except there's no fans to take advantage of it.
Also, the thing is, we probably won't see this player for a while, to be honest.
Young.
19, he was playing in Norway in the top division, and Sheffield United have sent him straight on loan to a team in Belgium, mainly because of sort of getting a work permit. Now, I was reading up on him. He might not actually, because of the whole work permit situation, he might not be able to play for Sheffield United for 3 years.
What?
It's all the work permit sort of stuff. In terms of what player he is, he's one of these players that sits in front of the defence, positionally very disciplined. He seems one of these players who will collect the ball from the centre backs and push it forward, not afraid to drive forward himself. Now, if you ever get a chance, have a look. He scored the most unbelievable goal, not direct from a corner. The team he played for last season took a corner. Now, it's not the same as Giroud's versus Crystal Palace, the scorpion kick, but it's...
I think I see it.
It's not too dissimilar. It's the outside of his right foot, and he loops it from the near post all the way over to the far post. It's an amazing goal. I definitely urge people to have a look at it.
We'll put it up on the page.
It's quality. Yeah.
Sounds like the kick from last night on UFC.
Oh, did you see that?
Oh, God.
Wow.
Holds onto his leg and then just goes, I have got two legs, by the way.
Unreal. Chris Gunter's joined Charlton on a free transfer. Tology Bola has joined Rochdale from Arsenal on a season-long loan. That geezer, I don't even know he's in under 23s, mate. I want to see his passport because he is a unit. He was different. He's been resting his feet in manure or something because he's massive. Southampton have loaned. Tottenham's Keziah staying on loan. Rangers are set to offer Ryan Kent a new contract to ward away Leeds in January. He's a good player, Ryan Kent. It shows that giving game time to these young players, it's all about game time. It's not about sticking them in the under 23s. Ryan Kent was a player that came from Liverpool, Liverpool youth system. Steven Gerrard took him to Rangers, and since then he's just progressed year on year out, and he's a very good player. I think he'd be very suited to the Premier League. Victor Moses is set to join Spartak Moscow on a loan after his spell at Inter Milan from Chelsea. David Alaba's situation has not changed, and he's free to speak to clubs in January. We followed the saga of David Alaba. He didn't get to move to Man City. The situation with Man City was because they couldn't get rid of a player. Hold on. And the David Alaba situation, the contract hasn't changed. They haven't come to an agreement on the contract. And yeah, it's free to speak to clubs from January onwards. His contract runs out at the end of the season. Summer.
He's 100% not shifting from that amount of money he wants. He wants that 25. He wants that 25 million euro. End of story.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, he's going to get it because from next summer, what I've been told is that Juventus are looking to sign Di Maria, Alaba, and Mesut Ozil because they'll all be free agents.
Yeah, do you know what? I was thinking about Juventus signing Ozil on a free transfer the other day, weirdly, because it popped up when I was playing a computer game, and I was like, "Oh my god, that would actually be a really good signing for Juventus. This could potentially happen. Maybe this is already written in the stars."
Imagine though, David Alaba, Ozil, Griffin Di Maria, and Ronaldo.
I don't think Ozil will go there. I think he'd have to work too hard.
I'll tell you what they'll do well on shirt sales, wouldn't they?
God!
Not being funny. The David Alaba one. It's like if you think that David Alaba. I said this from when we got told that David Alaba could be playing in the Premier League, and there was still talk that he looks like he's probably going to sign a new contract at Bayern Munich, and it's just a way of trying to get a little bit more money. And I was like, well, nah. The money that he wants, probably 10 clubs in the Premier League could afford that. If you're talking about one of the best left backs in the world, one of the best defenders in the world, because he could play along any position in that back four. Although he's predominantly centre and left, he could probably play right back. He's mustard. So
play defensive midfield player as well.
Play defensive midfield, which he did for Austria for many years. So if you're trying to tell me that he can't earn 25 million a year, it's nonsense. You have to play. If you want to be this team and you've got these players, you're gonna have to pay the money. You're gonna have to pay the money.
He wants the Premier League as well, though.
If he's talking about 25 million, it's because he's been offered that. So
yeah, he wants the Premier League though as well.
And it looks like Man City. So I'm guessing once we have this big clear out of Man City, potentially he could be coming in. As we speak about Man City, Steve, let me just brush the story about Pep Guardiola. News coming out today that says that potentially Manchester United and Man City have held talks with Mauricio Pochettino about taking over the jobs. Now, a lot of people may probably be thinking this is nonsense news. But as I put that up, I get a call from Steve. Steve says, I was just about to put that up. I said, Steve, what are you talking about? He says, Kiz, I have been told that things are not all right at Man City with Pep Guardiola. Please inform the viewers, Steve.
Stevie Wonder could have told you that.
No. Sorry, wait up. Sorry. There's assumptions, there's guesses, and hearing it, concrete. We can't do assumptions, mate. We need concrete. Go on, Steve.
Sorry, Steve, I tried.
You was leading me in nicely there. It was nearly as good as Jerome's.
Jerome's was last week. No, sorry, Jerome's ain't going to get beaten. It ain't going to get beaten.
Well, Kieran's right. I see a post on our page that Kieran put up, and I didn't actually read the post, but straight away I got in touch with him because the night before I was just having a general chit chat with the person that we all know from Man City that gives us information, and let's face it, we've never been wrong on. So you have to believe this. What I'm going to tell you now. One of the biggest things that's been really hard to explain in this transfer window is why Pep Guardiola hasn't been given the war chest that every other season that he's been given to go and win the title or win the Champions League, which has become Man City's holy grail. You know, this is what they want to do. Well, I can tell you, excuse me, there's massive changes that could be coming ahead from at Man City. That Pep and he could be leaving in the summer.
Steve, you sound like you're getting emotional, mate.
I know,
choking up.
Pep wanted 4 more players in the window.
Yeah.
He wanted a left back, he wanted a right back, he wanted a centre midfield player, and he wanted a forward. A meeting was had, and he was told the money that he had to spend from for this window, and from that a mutual agreement had been put in place that Pep could move on if he wanted to. And looking at Man City's side, it's decent, but I can see a lot wrong with it, and I can see why Pep would want these 4 new players, and basically he's being refused the money. He's not being given it. Yeah, Walker.
The writing's on the wall though when that kind of happens, really, isn't it? If you know there's big changes that need to be made with the team, and a team that usually has a blank check is not giving you any of them funds. And let's be honest,
what did he have?
What did he have last season? All he brought in was Rodri, weren't it?
Yeah, more or less.
We had discussions. We thought was to prepare for this season a big spend, a big clear out, and a big overhaul. But it didn't happen. It didn't.
After what Liverpool did, he wanted the big money.
Yeah.
Right? All they've brought in, I say all, they brought in Diaz, they brought in Aki, they brought in Torres. That's it.
Yeah, but he wanted a striker to potentially take over from Aguero eventually.
He did. Walker, he wants to change Walker. Yeah. This is all what I've been told. Just a messenger here, which is desperately what he's needed. Mm-hmm. He wanted Alaba or Tagliafico. Nothing. We had this thing that we was waiting for the Kolasinac thing so that he could buy. We look back now. When have Man City had to wait for an Arsenal player or any other player to leave before he can buy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all started. It's afterwards now. It's after the transfer window's gone, and things now you start thinking. You see if he wanted a defensive midfield player so that he could rest Fernandinho because he's playing too much. And most importantly, wanted a forward. Aguero is very injury prone, and these days Jesus is looked just as like a number 2. He wanted Martinez, and he wanted Werner. And they were top of his list, and he wasn't given the money for them. He was just given the money for 3 players. And if you look at a Man City 1-11, you can see they need a lot of work, and he's been refused it.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I think he's gone. I think he's gone in the summer, and I think Pep wants to go.
It's usually a 3-year project, isn't it? So when there was talk about him getting a new contract and big things happening, it was almost like, okay, well, maybe it's a corner turned because he's going an extra year. He's going to do the same thing again. He's found a home, but that's not the case. It feels like this will be the last season.
The biggest light thing is the left back position. We was all talking about while the window was on. And we was all talking about how, because we were up, Zinchenko, he wanted to change that position, but he needed to go so he could bring someone in. When has that ever been? When have you ever known that at Manchester City? It's like
the only thing you could think on that is this. They've just come out of a court case which they got off. They got off lightly. Dare say fairly, I say lightly. And they didn't want to sort of flash it in everyone's face again. But again, this is Man City, and I don't think they're too fussed about that. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, we'll post it. We'll post it in a bit. But yeah, this potentially the story that's out there. We know full well that Man United would have spoken to Pochettino about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because Edward was trying to save his own job. It's the surprising thing for most people will probably be the Man City bit, which you can read into. You can solidly read into.
Where would he go? Where would Pep go? Where would he go? Where's he going to go from there?
Juventus.
Yeah, but that depends on what Pirlo is doing.
It's easy for him. Go to Juve. Be the dominant team in Italy and then just do
money.
everything. Don't need money. Look at the squad that they've got.
Am I muted myself? If Pirlo does well, why are you getting rid of Pirlo? Like, we're talking about... No. Forget Pep. This is Pirlo.
I'm thinking in their head. It's Pep.
No,
this is Guardiola.
Pirlo. No, this is Pirlo. This is Andre Pirlo. If Pirlo does the business at Juventus, there's no way they're getting rid of Pirlo. Like, Pirlo is Pirlo. Like, he's an icon there. He's an icon. Like, it'd be like if Arsenal brought in Thierry Henry as manager and he done well, he won the league, and then you went, do you know what? Pep Guardiola's available. Get rid of Pep. Get rid of Henry. Bring in Pep. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. So okay. On paper, yeah, Pep's the guy, but you're not forcing out a legend in your team if they do well. That's my point. If they do well, you're not going to force him out. But if buts and maybes, I mean, he's always got the option of he's part of the Abu Dhabi team, isn't he? So he's always got that option if he wants to sit back and kick up his feet for a couple of seasons in New York, Tokyo, Australia, whatever. You do that later on. He probably can become Spain manager for a few years.
Yes.
And if he's not given the money to improve Man City side to win the title or to win the Champions League, Pep's probably, he's probably sat in that meeting and thought, well, what's the point of me being here?
What's the point? Exactly that. What's the point?
He's failed so far. He has failed so far, Pep, for me. Big time. He should have won the Champions League. He should have done the Champions League.
It's on the Champions League, yeah. You can say he's fouled on the Champions League.
I think he just failed at City.
I wouldn't say it's go as far as to say fouled at City. He's won back-to-back trophies, which hasn't been done in years. So to say he's fouled at City would be harsh. Fouled is which his target was to win the Champions League. Yeah, I think he's fouled in that. Like, he's not won the Champions League. And not just not won it. He's flopped at vital points. If you're 2 legs against Liverpool, and that's bad. Lyon, that's Lyon. Awful. Like, but by that Lyon game, it's almost as if he'd lost the motivation. The motivation's already gone. He's not got that buzz, that spark anymore. He's obviously a guy that wants to be loved and respected. And I think that season where he won the league and all that was spoken about was how Liverpool didn't win it, how Liverpool was so close to winning it. But people forget that Man City came from behind in that league, in that year, and to win the league. I think that took a lot out of him. he spent the rest of that summer talking about how he got no respect, how his team got no respect for winning the league, how all the talk was about Liverpool. So I'm sure he'll have a few things to say about that once he finally leaves. Liverpool lining up Jack Butland as a backup for Alisson. West Ham have completed the signing of Said Benrahma for 25 million plus 5. Go on, Simon. Tell me what you're excited about seeing Benrahma, yeah?
Yeah, I am actually, because to be honest, I've watched him in Championship and he's done a few good stuff. And I watched him. I've watched 4 games where they've been on Now TV, and I've managed to watch it. He actually does control a game to his level. He's very good at cutting in. He's very good. He's very skillful. He doesn't look where the net is. He knows exactly where the net is anywhere on the pitch. He's a very good team player as well. I wanted him for Arsenal, but then he sort of let himself down when it got to the playoffs and it got to the final against Fulham. He let himself down in that game because he could have easily took that game by himself against Fulham, and he never did. It's like every time the ball came to him, he just got rid of it very quick. It's like nerves got the better of him. And then that's when I swayed and went, nah, I don't want him for Arsenal. He's a bit overrated, to be honest. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Yeah, I think that step up, West Ham's probably a good team to go to get that step up because he's going to get game time. They need players. They need that bit of spark.
He's going to be a Payet. He's going to be he's going to be that player.
I think it's a good move. Ozil on the Saudi connection. Sire, while you're here, 500k a week has been offered. Just talk to us a little bit about the deal, Sire.
Well, basically, what I were told is that his agent and him have been in talks with this team from Saudi Arabia. I never knew who this team were. The person didn't tell me the name, and then basically they offered him 400 plus a week, and he turned it down, turned it down. He's wanting to basically see out his contract at Arsenal. He's sort of in discussions, what I've been told, with Mikel Arteta and Edu and the Kroenkes in trying to earn his badges with Arsenal. He wants to start his coaching badges, and he wants to have some sort of role with Mikel Arteta at the end of this season. That's what I've been told. And then now I've looked this afternoon and I've seen all these Saudi Arabia connections and everything's just come out. And it's pretty much same as what I told you, basically, on our chats.
So with the Saudi Arabian thing, it came out previously he was offered money, and it looks like they've offered him more money. From what the information that I've sort of managed to gather together on the whole situation, it's a non-starter. His relationship.
He offered him 2 hotels as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
And he offered him to become a prince. So if he's going to turn that down, I mean, that's pretty much says it all. His relationship with the Turkish president is very strong, as has been documented previously with regards to the fallout with the German team and relations with Turkey and so on and so forth. So we know the relationship is strong there. Turkish relationship with Saudi Arabia is not strong. And it would upset, or he feels it would upset, the president of Turkey if he were to move to Saudi Arabia. People are poo-pooing that, but that's a very important thing to them. All right? Like, there's a lot of stuff that's gone down between them that you probably don't know about. So research it. Yeah. Very political. And he is not willing to upset his good friend with that. So a Saudi move probably ain't going to happen. Probably definitely ain't going to happen.
He wants Fenerbahce though, Mesut Ozil. He's told his agent he wants Fenerbahce.
The Fenerbahce thing's been going on a while. I wouldn't be surprised. And the coaching badges you can see, because once a player gets to a certain age, generally they do the coaching badges with the clubs that they're at. And look, who's to begrudge Mesut Ozil from becoming a coach in the future? Maybe we can teach some of the youngsters a thing or two with some of the stuff that he had when he was younger.
I'm about to say, because as much as his career now has hindered and everyone wants him out, he is, for me, still the best number 10 that I've seen in my generation in the Premier League. I mean, I didn't get to see Dennis Bergkamp as much. Bergkamp for me is levels above Ozil, levels.
Glad you said
But
that.
Henri, fucking hell. But Ozil for me, when you watch him, and now he was 19 assists already in December. Already in December 19. It's took Kevin De Bruyne a whole season to get 19.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He's a very talented player. And talent wasn't the problem for some people. Lukaku's warned Alexis Sanchez and Ashley Young to move on with and join him due to the divide in the Manchester United dressing room. I mean, everyone's going to put that down to Paul Pogba, aren't they? It's an easy one to say because you don't know. So the easiest one to say is the most eccentric person. So yeah, but I mean, can you really divide a dressing room that much? One person? Surely people would clock onto it. Can you?
I don't know how true the Sanchez things was, but he seemed to piss a lot of people off, didn't he, when he was at the dressing room?
But I mean,
rightly or wrongly. But Pogba seems to have some kind of problem every year, doesn't he? I mean, the guy is super talented, and I just wish he'd stick to his football, and instead of every year coming out with these, I want to leave, I want to go. If you want to leave, if you want to go,
mate,
just go.
Man United must dread international duty because you know that it's guaranteed there's going to be a statement from Paul Pogba saying something of the ilk of, yeah, Juventus are a great team. I'd love to go and play for them again. Or it's every kid's dream to play for Real Madrid. Well, why not?
And is he that much of a loss to him now?
I said it. I said it a few weeks back. I personally think that Man United are preparing for his to go. Like
I still said Donny van de Beek is his replacement.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I was thinking.
I said that a couple of weeks ago. I think they've overloaded that midfield because they're preparing for a replacement for Pogba. Because look, at the end of the season, his contract runs out. They can put in a year option on that year. That still means Paul Pogba will go for around 50 million max, 40 million. Like you can't really ask for more than that because you just say, okay, I'll just stay for another season. I'll go on free. So do the deal now. And if he really is that much of a hindrance in the dressing room, you won't want that guy being in the dressing room when he's been told he has to stay for an extra season rather than go into the club that he wants to.
Call his bluff. Just call his bluff.
But the thing is, it seems to be a thing with players. They're wiser on this now. Like as we said previously with Mbappe, he's on the last year of his contract next season, so he knows that Paris Saint-Germain have to sell him, otherwise they risk losing him for free. So he's writing his own script. Players are doing that now. Like, take me down to the last end of the season because I want to go. Sell me to the team that I want to go to. Otherwise, so that you can't overinflate my valuation to the point that I can never go. And it's a situation that Wilfried Zaha's in right now. He's talking about he wants to go here, there, and everywhere, and he doesn't want to be at Crystal Palace. Well, why did you sign a 5-year deal? Why did you sign a 5-year deal with 120 grand a week or 100 grand a week? It's silly. You should have just rode out the contract that you was on, and then you get to a certain point, and they have to sell you. Like you got to plan out. You got to be smarter. Stop looking at the money because the money will come. Arsenal keeping tabs on Mykola Matvienko. You're going to do a player profile in next week's Jerome, so you better learn his name.
If he can spell it right.
I'll see what people call him for short.
Yeah.
Just call him M. Just
Double M. Double M. Arsenal also looking to bring in Bakary Samari in January after agreeing personal terms. In principle previously. It looks like Arsenal looking to tie up a deal for Samari. He was a replacement.
Bakary Samari.
Babakari
Samari.
Yeah, Babakari Samari. Arsenal looks like they're looking to tie up a deal so they can get him in January. He is the replacement for Guendouzi, so watch this space on that transfer because, I can see that happening. Arsenal also try and bring in Hoiberg again in the January transfer window, but they will not mess around. They will not be hanging around. They will not wait for any agents that want to come in last minute and try and get their money's worth. It's not going to happen because they will move on to Dominic Szoboszlai.
Yeah, go get him. Go get him.
Jerome, you did a little profile look at him, yeah? Compare what you say.
Wow.
Oh,
And the thing with Hossim Aouar is that he's told now Olympic Lyon to not start negotiations, but to handle negotiations rather than his brother, who's the agent, who was asking for the commission. So now Hossim Aouar, what I've been told, is pushing for the deal to happen in January. And if Arsenal can't get him in January, they will get him on a pre-contract for in the summer.
Well, it didn't make sense previously before when it looked like a deal was done, and then on Friday it just went quiet.
Everything was done. Everything was literally
done. And then on
done.
Saturday it was like, why is it still so quiet? And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, deal's off. And it was like, what? This has dropped off a cliff. There's agent fees.
I still can't get Szoboszlai out my head.
Yeah, so
he's a better player in my opinion.
Jerome, hit us.
I think Austin Moore is fantastic, but anyway, sorry, Jerome.
Go on.
That's right. Yeah, I think the boys have hit the nail on the head. This Dominic Szoboszlai, he looks incredible. So he's a little bit younger than Hoiberg. He's going to be 20 later on this month. I guess you can say you could probably play them together. They could probably play in the same team. But if you had to choose one over the other, I prefer the look of his name is so difficult to say. I prefer the look of Dominic.
There's too many silent letters in there, isn't it?
Hard. So
Szoboszlai.
Yeah, Szoboszlai. So comparing the two, he got voted. He was player of the season last year in the Austrian, they're called the Austrian Bundesliga. He was involved in a hell of a lot of goals. So in 67 games, he's been involved in 47 goals, whether that's assists or goals. The thing is, let's forget the stats. You look at him play, and he is the most elegant,
silky, isn't he? Oh.
Yeah, he's such a smooth player. He's got a lovely drop of the shoulder that he uses to get past people. He wanted to play, or apparently he wanted to play another season in the Champions League, which could be why he's staying there this season. Comparing him to Aouar, I think this Dominic has got a lot more strings to his bow. He's physically stronger, he's taller, which can't be helped. I think he's more exciting to watch. Both of them have got excellent technique. Like Aouar's close control is incredible, and maybe Aouar might be slightly more polished.
But he has got years on him, isn't he?
He has got years. He's also with Aouar. He's produced versus opponents playing in the French league to playing in the Austrian league. One is obviously a lot better than the other. But I think with Dominic, he produces a lot of more moments that will get you out of your seat. Yeah. And for being so young as well, he's already got over 100. He's got 115 senior appearances, and he's still only 19. I think he's incredible. You see in lots of shots from distances, free kicks. If I had to choose one, I wouldn't go for Aouar. I think Aouar's probably double the price, if not a bit more.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to compare because they're playing in different leagues and you're watching them play against different opposition. I was never look. Aouar still might go to Arsenal, but I've never been totally convinced that he's a £50 million player. I think this Dominic's got people say he's got like a higher ceiling. Like his potential is just incredible.
He's got a 25 million release clause as well.
So,
I'm
yeah,
about to say, the thing with this Dominic, he's the perfect creative midfielder that's like a number 10. A bit like Havertz is what he is for Bayer Leverkusen and now Chelsea. The thing with Hossein Aouar, he is kinda Kevin De Bruyne. Not his ability, but how he plays. The way that he just controls the midfield, the creativity. This is what Arteta sees in Hossein Aouar. He can be his own Kevin De Bruyne, but you can still have Partey, Aouar, and Dominic all in the same team because they're different players for different positions. Aouar, for me, is the kind of 8 what Ceballos plays. Partey is obviously can be DM, but can also be a number 8. But when you look at football now, they don't play with a 10. They don't play with an 8. That's it. You need 3 midfielders that are all going to work together.
They can play.
And I think with Partey, Aouar, and Dominic, you can get on the 25 million release clause. You can get Aouar sold up in January. You could even get this Dominic sold up in January for in the summer, and you've got Partey there already. That is unbelievable.
Jerome, who are you bringing in?
I think I'm going to say what Steve's probably going to say. I would try for the Hungarian for Dominic. I'd try and go for him.
Steve,
I would be going for. I mean, I've always been a fan of Szoboszlai from the start, from when I first see him. So that's obviously going to play a lot into it. But what reason why I'm saying it as well is for what exactly Jerome just said. He's big. He's quite.
He's a presence.
Strong. Yeah, he's a presence. He's quite. He's big, and he's only 19. So I was looking at him. Watched a couple of times I've seen. I'm imagining him in 2-3 years' time. And I'm imagining him even stronger, and I'm imagining him even bigger, and I'm imagining him even quicker. And then I think a bit Gareth Bale. It reminds me of he could become something like that because he's that quick, he's that strong, he's that big, and he's got that tricky, and he scores incredible goals.
Oh my God,
he does.
Did you see his goal that he scored for Hungary recently?
Was it a free kick?
Might have been for about 40 yards. Oh, mate. It was. I think it was a long ranger for about 45 yards. He's absolutely rifled it. Not even a floater, rifled it. It just fizzed in top corner, mate. It just would have taken players out of the lot, mate. I really like the look of him. I think he's very exciting to watch. The fact that he's younger. He's got more of a physical presence. It's not taking anything away from Aouar because Aouar was a very. Aouar was a very. He's like a David Silva Aouar, and then I'd see more Szoboszlai as a Kevin De Bruyne, but more as the attacking version of Kevin De Bruyne, where he's got everything in his arsenal to score free kicks, to score shots. He's that kind of player. So. Look, either way, I think you've targeted 2 very, very, very good players. So, hopefully Arsenal were watching this and maybe they saw something in him that Jerome's now pulled out. Thank you very much, everyone. All right. 2 hours, 30 minutes. People in the comment section, I didn't even say hello. How rude of me. And we've got some new names in there. Let's just say, before we say our goodbyes, let's say hello. Yeah, say goodbye. I'm singing along. All right, Toxic. Great name. Vinicius is a baller. Boom. Corey, here again. Why No Sentiment FC. Very good. See you again. I'm hoping these are okay. It started to get a bit fruity in there. Okay. It's Tottenham and Arsenal, isn't it? Love it. Good win. How you doing? Yeah.
Sort of Matt could win.
Yep. So Mihai, how you doing, Mihai? Glenn Cook. Yeah. Good wins. Trying to sort him out. This is like reading back to the commentary of a football match. Goodwin's running through. He's sorted him out. He's dropped him a verbal slap. Toxic's disappeared, and he's exited the chat. Jonathan Cox came in. Why No Sentiment? Peter Morocco, go on, son. Yes, Pete. How you doing? It's one of my boys. Gareth Lewis is there. DR. That's a random name. Crazy Summer of Madness. Giving Simon a shout out there. Yeah, and generally that's about it. Archie, that's a new name. Thank you very much. Doing a great job, guys. Goodwin, thank you very much. Shout out to my boy Goodwin. There he is. Say hello.
Well done, Goodwin.
So looking forward to seeing your brother next Saturday.
Thomas Friday. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you to our guests, Jamie Brown and Abbi Summers. Obviously, go and check them out. Thank you to The Voice, Jerome Marks.
Are we not talking about this Premier League thing? You know, the paying for fans?
No.
We're saving that.
All right, Steve. Bloody hell!
Save it.
Could you keep that signy lower?
Yeah. My missus is going to kill me.
Steve, you nearly blew the house down. Who needs a big bad wolf when you got Steve? All right. Thank you very much, Simon, for joining us.
I was looking forward to that chat, though, I must admit.
Yeah, get out of it. We'll save it till next week. All right, Steve K, the Chief Scout. Thank you very much, Steve.
Cheers, Kieran. Thanks for everybody for joining us tonight.
All right.
Tottenham fans, if you're still there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty more. In fact, it's that Zidane28. Hello, shout out to Zidane28. Can't see it's a white kit. I'm going to pretend it's Tottenham. We've still got a Tottenham fan here. Thank you very much for joining us, people. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go and follow the guys. Like and subscribe. Follow our Insta. Follow our Twitter. Please like, subscribe, and share and all that. All right? I saw something earlier where it goes, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to like. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to subscribe. Like, come on. How many people done it? At least one. Thank you very much, people. Peace out. Make sure you join us next week. Stay safe. I don't know what team it's going to be. And make sure you wash your hands.